Hi, Jacob Rhines.
Hello, buddy.
So we started this podcast over again because my dogs were absolutely going ape shit.
Yeah, this was their time. They decided right now is when we're going to play loudly.
Yeah, they were like hardcore sleeping like on the bed, knocked out before you got here, and now obviously all that energy is very active and alive in them, which it's kind of how I feel right now. I'm feeling really good. It's been really cool being able to talk to you. I mean, we've done a podcast before. If nobody really knows that, audio sucked. It was my fault, and I'm sorry for that. But we got you back on here. We're ready to rock. And I wore my third eye hat as well too, because we're gonna get a little weird in here today.
Respect. Open that thing wide open.
Oh,
baby.
dude, our messages yesterday, like preparing for this show today, was just.
Oh yeah.
That I might post those later because that shit was funny.
Just 14 seconds of silence staring at the camera.
My dad hit me once. And you're like, my dad hits a lot of people. Stares at the camera for 14 seconds. Just the longest 14 seconds I've ever felt in my life, dude. Oh man.
And the podcast right there.
Yeah. No. It's so much fun getting to talk to you because, like, obviously, like, we get into some really real conversations, some things that I feel like people need in their lives, people gravitate towards, especially if they're in. I mean, you could be in a positive mindset and still listen to your podcast, which is an amazing podcast. It's the Junkyard Love podcast. I would highly recommend going to check that out. It's sort of self-development, meditation. Just kind of transforming your life essentially from the mind and on.
Yeah.
Talking about the universe and stuff like that. But no, it's fun talking about that, and then also we get to transition into the woo-woo shit where it's like I'm such a fan of being a conspiracy theorist. Like I'm not like I gotta watch myself because like QAnon thing came around and I was like,
that's some convincing shit, some of these videos.
I went into my closet and I dusted off that conspiracy jacket. I was like, oh, I missed you.
It's time to work.
I put a medal on and just a fucking hat. Like
let's figure out what the cabal is trying to teach me today.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was like, dude, why I can't do the okay sign anymore. Can't do a thumbs up. Just can't do anything. I just stood still and just thought. No, it's fun getting into it. I think there's a fine line of like knowing what is kind of going on and like questioning life and reality and just, believing that there's lizard people underneath the earth.
Right. I mean, dude, I think a lot of it, I think the internet has given many different types of people with different levels of not only intellect, but life experience and like things that we all know, how we create our reality based off of our truth of what we have lived. We learn who we are and the history about ourselves based off of certain people who have created, our systems and told us this is what's important to learn. But someone on the other side of the world who speaks a different language, who learns in a different way in their mind than you, they were told a completely different story. And so it's very, like, as soon as you start thinking that way, it's like, well, okay, like what's truth? What's true for me? Like what's actually going on here? What are the things that I can believe? What are the things that I can't believe? How is it helpful to believe these things and not helpful to believe these other things? And I mean, I don't know. I think it is very dangerous territory in some senses because you can't, you've got to be like just crazy enough, like you can't just be too into it or you are just stuck in your basement with the tinfoil hat. But even the term conspiracy theory, I think was like one of the presidents, like maybe Reagan or something a long time ago in that era was when like that term itself, like we don't even question what is that term? Well, it's just, someone who's apparently crazy. And like, as soon as someone calls you a conspiracy theorist, now you can be written off as like, oh, the things they're saying are kind of crazy,
illegitimate.
Like they're going against the truth. But I don't know. I think we should all be exploring our own truths, and I think we should all be investigating what's really going on here.
Yeah.
And sometimes to really do that and like enjoy doing it and really feel like you're kind of almost getting work done,
Yeah.
you got to dive into it, bro.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to like be like, I'm going to believe this crazy shit for a couple days because I want to see what it really feels like to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
then understand why the steps it takes to kind of disbelieve the most kind of insane things. One second, I'm going to grab him. All right, whatever. He doesn't listen. He's not a good boy today. But no, I was just going to say
There he goes.
kind of diving into that world, it's fun, and at first you're like, whoa, and then you're like, whoa, and you're like, what the fuck, and then you can't even look at your neighbor because you think your neighbor is just pinging a satellite just to fucking see what's on your Wi-Fi or what you're
He's
looking
a
up on your
reptile
computer.
wearing human skin.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just like I've been there. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel that, and like, and everything kind of gets this weird distortion. Your reality kind of gets this, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like you have to go there to really understand why these in-depth conspiracies may not be so much of a conspiracy, like especially with the like the QAnon thing. I don't know, I was like, holy shit, they're running a child sex trafficking ring within the Democratic Party, or whatever it is. And it's like, well, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was here, and then it connected here, and then we found the ring, and then they're lizard people, and they're going in the woods, and they're burning owls and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or burning children or whatever. It's like, okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this information from? It's like, Q posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
You're like, they're posting the world's most top secret fucking government conspiracy on Facebook. You kidding me? Like, bro, listen to yourself real quick. On Facebook, where your grandma posts about freaking her baking recipe, you're also getting your information from.
Well, that is the thing, though. If we really look at, that is ridiculous in every way. Like it is this instant, like, okay, hold up. Do I really think that like I'm going to be the one to get this information and I'm the one understanding and I'm getting it through Facebook through like my other crazy friends? But, as much as the little bluebird of Twitter is kind of like light and quaint, there's a lot of very important things that happen on Twitter. Like the things that our president can say on Twitter, or like right now, like if I was a person of high importance in, say, like the military complex of the U.S., and I tweet on my, like, say I have a blue check next to it, like people know this is who I am, and I'd say, fuck you, China, all right, whatever. There's potential with these things that they're both unserious, and it's a place where grandma has her recipes, but they're also very powerful. The power of social media, the power of the little blue bird, the cute white F behind the blue background of Facebook. It really is where our conversations are taking place, and it really is where like the zeitgeist of what we think we know is changing. I mean, truth right now over the last few years, not just in our political world, but really all over the world, truth is shaky. Like a lot of people haven't really asked themselves, like, well, where did I get my information? What does? And so I think because it's so shaky, we are running to conspiracy theories, because what the human wants to do, like what our minds want to do, is feel that we understand, because not knowing is terrifying. Not knowing what's going on.
You see people like sort of shake, that high school group that's like talking and giggling and laughing, and you just innately are like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
I gotta know.
I need to know. I'm gonna kind of wiggle my way in here and stick an ear in. It's that's the way kind of the world is, and that's the way we innately feel is that overwhelming need to understand.
Yeah. And our social survival kind of relies on it a lot of the times.
And a lot of the times we feel lesser than what the standards are in society. Like social media can portray so many people to look a certain way and have a certain status and stature. And no, it's all good. So we always want to point the finger elsewhere. You know what I mean? We always want to say like, this is the reason why I'm not the way in the place that I want to be, is because the fucking government is funneling money into the military industrial complex and taking away jobs from the millions, but also raking in billions of dollars and destroying kids and all this stuff, which could be true, and honestly probably is true.
Right.
That one I probably shouldn't have gone with. I should have went with the lizards and stuff like that. But
It's all true.
yeah, no, but it's so much fun, honestly, digging into conspiracies, finding actually what is kind of like, I see,
Right.
I can see the correlation here.
Something that is probably helpful when it comes to conspiracy theories is someone like, because I think people should explore conspiracy theories. I think they
100%.
should seriously do their research and seriously spend some time, like not even doing your research, like you have paperwork in front of you and you're trying to prove something and you're trying to find the bad thing and show it to the world. I think to understand what it feels like in you yourself, to like understand, or to allow in certain ideas and ideologues, because I think if you're looking up your conspiracy theory to try to find bad other, you're going to find hours and hours and hours and days and weeks and months worth of content online to support your idea. And I think a lot of the QAnon, the Quanon, whatever, is now your fucking YouTube video is going to get deleted because we said the words Quanon.
No.
But
Is that a thing now?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube and these platforms are actually controlling. I don't know if they'll delete it for.
I'm sorry,
but they
not big enough. I have 58 views. No, 71.
Yeah, they have the listens.
Fuck
and
with you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is, does your conspiracy theory challenge your view of the world and allow you to explore other possibilities of what you find to be true? Does it light you up? Does it like I think people like us, we're fascinated by it, and it's a fun thing, and we're trying to figure out this universe because we realize that there's nobody piloting the ship of Earth. Like nobody really knows what's going on here, and so to explore that is exciting. But if you're diving into the QAnon stuff, or the super left, the super right, you get caught in this maze almost that you don't realize you're in. What these algorithms and the videos are doing to you is they're fulfilling your need to find a bad other. And our whole
an enemy.
Our whole country is stuck with that of like, we're all terrified, man. What's going on? Our world is very weird right now. We're advancing very quickly with technology. We have a worldwide pandemic and it's not being handled correctly. We have years and years of politicians proof that politicians are very corrupt in that not all politicians, but like, and so we're all very scared and we're very confused, and so run to conspiracy theories for sure, but make sure as you're watching them, is this causing me to find an evil enemy that I can blame for everything that's going on? Or is it just challenging me to explore what's within myself and what I actually can handle and what I can actually control and perceive in my everyday life?
Yeah. And I think that the most beautiful thing about a conspiracy theory is the fact of, what is it actually? It's a question. It's questioning either the government. It's questioning the transparency of an establishment. It's a question. It's trying to answer this question. And so I think the kind of the approach to a conspiracy is the way in which you should kind of approach life in ways. I mean, not taking it to the full extreme of these conspiracy theories, but also just questioning, just really the amount of depth that I see in conspiracies is the amount of depth that I try and use in my everyday life. That's what I want to do. That's why I like conspiracies. It's like, how much deeper can we go? How much deeper? I mean, even just putting it within your relationships, your emotional standpoint, like I feel this way. Well, why do I feel this way? Why, and then you understand that, and then it leads to another thing, and then it leads to another thing, and all of a sudden you may get over a trauma, or all of a sudden you may break through as far as like owning a business and wanting to achieve something greater. It's the amount of depth, the more depth that you put into life, the more depth that I put into videos, the more depth that you put into music, the more depth that I put into podcasts, makes something so much richer. It just makes something more full. It's you could see the detail in it. It's beautiful. It's Picasso's painting. You're like, holy shit. Like, I see how much went into this. I see it.
Right.
That makes it special. It's not just like a slap of paint and you're like, oh, that took 2 seconds. Like, next, swipe next sort of thing. So,
well, I mean, that's the thing about, I think, art's a great example because you're exploring the theory of an emotion. You're exploring the theory of something that's profound to you or something that you're feeling inside. I mean, an artist who's painting or drawing or even singing, writing music, anything, is taking something from within, like an emotion that, maybe we have words for it that describe the emotion, but we don't really know. Like, words can't even come close to emotions. Like, it's just the closest that we have to describe it. And so they're pulling something from like the ethereal mental structure of humans and like, what do we think about this? Like, what is it? Here's how I experience love in my life. Boom, put it on a page, put it on a canvas, and someone else is now able to see that and be like, oh shit, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel what you're saying. And so it's kind of just, it's like like if you treat it as you're exploring at all times what's really going on here, you're exploring like how you explore this world. It's healthy, and you'll always be changing. You'll always be like questioning the way that you do things, and instead of trying to find the way to properly paint a picture, you're going to say like, what does a picture do? And okay, it's communicating an emotion. Well, how do I communicate emotions? And you can really start back at like the base layer level of who you are and what you are as a human with a consciousness, and being an artist as a human is like, that's like one of our best gifts, is like pulling ideas from the muse realm and bringing them into life. Yeah.
So, and it sucks because there's some people for sure that are like, I don't know, everyone has their gifts and talents, and some people just aren't artists. Some people are, artists in their own way. Maybe not, musically or with video, painting, whatever it is, drawing. People that don't see that and don't understand the process of creation, don't understand that, like, they're like, dude, you have a camera, like, you should be posting a picture every day, or you should be creating a video every day. Like, the reason I create stuff is because I feel it. Everything I do, I feel within me, and if I don't feel it, I'm not creating it. There's so much art on my computer that I haven't posted because of the fact that I just tried to just wake up one day and just create something. Like, my heart wasn't behind it. My heart wasn't behind it. And I create every day with an intention of learning. Like, I want to learn more. I want to learn more about the craft and how to do it and how to achieve the certain things I want to. And sometimes that kind of hinders me because I'm not, essentially seeing all the growth that I could be seeing from like point A to point B, because I don't post the in-between times or whatever. But I really enjoy doing what I do. I love what I do, and I want to be remembered within myself. Like, I want to know what I did was because I love to do it, not because of a post, not because of the amount of likes that something gets. Like, I don't know. I love doing what I do. Let me start this over real quick. No, I just think everyone kind of feels like that. Every artist essentially kind of has that feeling, from what I see. But to those people that just don't necessarily understand, like, the fact that I want to see more of your work, it's like, I want to see more of my work. I understand what you're seeing. I get what you're saying, but also there's so much of a emotional attachment to it, and there's so much connection that I try and put into my work, that if I'm creating a wedding video and the people don't cry, I didn't put enough into it. Like, I know what I can do to bring out the best video for people. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to draw emotion. I know where emotion is at the time where I'm filming it, and I know how to pair things up so that it builds the emotion and then boom,
Right.
it kicks, and then things like that. So
Yeah. I
don't
mean,
know,
that's exactly like I was, you're talking about the Picasso painting. Like that's what he's doing. He's taking it like, okay, I see an ability to spark an emotion in people, and or I see a pathway basically. Like it's my job as the artist with a paintbrush in hand, or the artist with a camera and editing gear in hand, to bring out that emotion that I know can be reached within the subjects, within the customers almost. But then the word customers. Then the thing about art in today's world is an artist in a marketplace is crushed. Like an artist that is creating freely, like the essence of what an artist is doing should exist outside of like money and our societal structure in a sense, because it's when things are commoditized, you're almost changing the way that you do them. Like you're
adjusting.
When you know what works, you're following data of what's worked for other people, and sometimes that could like squeeze the originality of what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a hard balance though. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's the same for you DJing essentially like gigs that are like high school graduations or like big business parties or things like that. Like for me, like I do a lot of real estate stuff, and it's not what I want to do. Weddings at the end of the day are not what I truly want to do. I want to create movies and films, and I will get there one day. But like you said, like we kind of have to crawl through this kind of the gauntlet to get there, and I'm really glad that I have to crawl through that, because along the way I'm learning, I'm sharpening my tools. I'm really fine tuning everything. So like when I get on the spot, when I'm a wedding is basically like a 1-day documentary, and I film them myself for the most part, unless Nate comes by and helps me. But for the most part, I'm filming them myself, and you got one chance to do it, so you really cannot fuck up.
Right.
And doing that repetitively and continuously understanding what you're doing and in every second of every minute for freaking 12 hours, you're getting pretty good, you know. And I feel way more confident. Like I don't have this weird like kind of shadow figure hanging over me like, you better not mess up, Brandon, you better not mess up.
Right.
Their whole freaking video is depending on this. Like the thing that they're going to look back forever on is it's right in front of you, and you better not mess up. And so I don't know, building that confidence is like, all right, I paid my dues. Like I know what I can do now. And I just like knowing the fact that I feel like I understand the art form. Almost that it's like basics, because I could learn to infinity about this craft, but at its basic form, like I'm pretty freaking sharp. So it's like, you got the craft now. Now what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
Now who is Brandon Cruz in the film industry?
Right.
Or what can you do with this new power?
Well, in knowing that very well may take many years, like or it might be like what your life journey is about. It's when it's doing things that are in your ballpark, but not the exact thing you want to do. Like it's not like you get to wake up and do exactly what you want, and create exactly what you want, and any idea that pops in your head, you have all the abilities and all the equipment to create it. It's like that's a thing that hopefully eventually can happen, but yeah, you're almost taking yourself to the gym by doing gigs that work in the marketplace. Like me, I started out when I first started DJing when I was way younger. It was just like electronic music was what really turned me on. I was just like, dude, I love it. I'm never playing anything but electronic music. I liked all kinds of music. I loved hip hop forever, but I was like EDM, like house, techno, Melbourne bounce, like dubstep even for a while, trap music. Like I was like, I'm doing electronic. That's what I want to do. And then I remember I started having opportunities pop up where like people knew I was a DJ, or like friends of friends knew I was a DJ, and like, oh, this person works at this bar and they need a new DJ who's like young, whatever. So I started accepting gigs where it was out of my comfort zone, where I'm like, okay, I want to just do electronic. That's what I want to do right now. It's my favorite thing about DJing. But then money comes in, money opportunities to like, okay, you got to learn how to play hip hop. And it's like, I mean, it's a pretty big transition. Like that was a few months of me like being fucking awful at playing hip hop music. But now looking back, like in 9-10 years under my belt of doing different genres and like all the doors that opened, like how many different events that I played once I started not just playing electronic music. Now, when I go back to electronic music, I'm that much better. I have all these other styles under my belt. Oh, yeah. So it's really just sharpening your tool belt of your skill. Like explore the depths and explore the corner and shine a light on all the different aspects of your like chosen field, your chosen career, your chosen like paintbrush. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it just makes you better and better, and it puts you in new rooms, lets you meet new places or meet new people.
It's really cool to develop that kind of style and skill, and you don't necessarily, gravitate towards trying to learn all this stuff, especially when you first start. You're like, I am EDM or I am, electronic music, and everyone's like, well, why don't you take a fucking picture of my house? And I'm like, well, I'm out here trying to film movies. You want me to take a video of your house? Right. Like, how is that very cinematic? Yeah, kind of like that, but. It's kind of cool thinking, like, I love Bruce Lee and his kind of mottos and stuff like that. And he always says, like, don't fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks, but fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. But I think that's where that depth comes in. Like, you got to think about, like, either your DJ equipment or my camera as the kick. And the muscles in your body are, like, the depth in which, like, being able to take pictures of a house, being able to shoot a wedding, being able to, film a documentary or whatever the case may be. It's like all these are for the same purpose. It's all in the name of the kick, right. Essentially. So I think that consistency, you're going to ride this wave, especially for anyone who's wanted to start something, who is starting something, who wants to build a business, build a skill, build something within themselves. You have to accept right now that it's going to be extremely tough. It's going to be mentally challenging, physically challenging. Like, you're going to be up early, go to bed late. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to lose friends. You're going to, from A to Z, you're going to go through the works.
You can't change if nothing changes.
Yeah. And it's going to take a long time. Like, if you think you're in this for a year and you're going to be good, think again. Like, right. This shit takes 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. Like, you could still not even think you're good after 25 years. You know, hopefully you are. If you're doing it, you might not be doing something right, but no, it's a process. It's a seriously long process, and just look to the people that are there to support you. Like, seriously, like, they look you in your eyes and they say, you got this. Look for those people and look at yourself. Constantly look at yourself and say, yo, like, I believe in myself. I really got this. No matter how I'm feeling, no matter if I'm down. You got to
install that, man.
Yeah. That is a huge part of being successful in learning how to play the guitar, learning how to shoot a camera, learning how to be a DJ, learning how to freaking ride a bike. Like, you have to believe in yourself. Right. And that belief system, there's going to be a point where you recognize it. Right. Like, you really recognize it. And that's where the sense of fear kind of flips and goes away. You're like, I don't necessarily fear this anymore. Like, I run to it. Like, this daunting feeling that used to consume me as far as, like, me not being good enough in my own head is now gone. Yeah. And that is like that fiery rage that you're just like, I can fucking do anything, Yeah. Once you learn how to do one thing like that, you can do anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you got to gas yourself up. Like, that's what you got to be willing to, like, look at. I feel like learning what it takes starts to populate itself as you start walking down the path of, like, I enjoy doing this thing and I want to lean into it. And, like, as much as I wish I could go straight to the top right now, and much as I wish this meant I had life all figured out, like, okay, I found this one thing, and now I never have to work again a day in my life because I figured out what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it. And it's like, no, man, you kind of got to, like, some days you wake up and you feel discouraged, or you feel silly, or you feel like you've been putting too much time into that stuff. And so you got to bring in that like self-help side of yourself. Like, okay, I have a goal that I want to pursue. How do I show up as a human to the best of my ability? And sometimes that takes waking up and journaling. Sometimes that takes waking up and listening to the right like YouTube videos, or listening to like I am affirmations, or whatever's going to get you in the optimal
slapping
shape.
a banger as soon as you wake up and just, that's my song, you know?
Yeah. No, exactly. Like get yourself into that state. You know, you got to get yourself into the state of the person who's going to handle it. Because if you're, you know, look at, like, speaking of state, like state changes, Tony Robbins, he talks about, like, you got to, if you're sad, you're going to wake up and your shoulders are kind of slumped over, you know. But like if your job that day requires you to be exuberant and light and happy and demanding and present, like you got to notice, okay, I got a job to do today. I got to show up for this video shoot. And I got to be guiding people. There's going to be people that are maybe hungover because they went drinking last night. I got to get them energized. I got to get them happy. I got to get them smiling for this camera. So what that's going to take from me as the videographer, the person behind the camera, is to be in my optimal state, is to, you know, dance around, get moving, get confident, get myself to laugh this morning so I can show up as the best tool for this job. Like you almost start seeing yourself when you're pursuing these things as like an artist or a creator, or even just an entrepreneur. You start realizing that your mind is the tool that needs to be sharpened. Like you are part of this thing. You got to set your pride aside and say, what needs to happen today to get my project done? And what part of my human mind needs to change, and how do I show up to best aid my future plans?
Exactly. But, and also it's not even necessarily, I don't want to single out artists or people who are entrepreneurs or people who are just, you know, grinding in a certain way. Like this is for everyone. This is, if I don't care if you fucking wake up and go to McDonald's, if you go, you know, you work at Macy's, or I don't care what it is. Like you have to show up as your best self. You have a responsibility to be your best self because others depend on that. Like you don't necessarily understand that you change the fabric of other people's realities. And when you really realize that, like, if I show up today and I smile and I kick the fucking door open and say, come here, motherfucker, give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? That, to someone who's sad, they don't even have a chance to go, wait, I'm sad. You know, it's like, oh, all right, come here. And then you just fucking bear hug them and go, come here, motherfucker. Ah, man. How you been? It's good to see you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
You just pulled them out of that. Yeah, man. That's a crazy ability, actually. You know, it's
every single person has that ability. Everybody has that ability to just go and take control over any situation. And the more that you do that, the more you realize you have control over your life, control of your emotions, control over your fucking bank account, your you know, whatever it is. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a skill that you have to develop over time. Again, it's not something that you can wake up and just do, but it is something that you can just wake up and just do. You know, it's a weird kind of in-between thing.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it reminds me of, like, right now, when he has extra work, I work with my buddy, because obviously DJs aren't working very much right now. Audio engineers aren't really working right now. There's no live events. So I'll work for my buddy's company. He pours concrete. And it's like, I mean, that's like the opposite of, you would think like, oh, that's not a creative job. I mean, for one, it is creative, totally. Like when you watch these people, like how exact they are, and it is an art in itself. But he was talking to me, he was telling me, it really stuck with me a few months back. He was telling me, like his little cousin would work for him, and he would, as the boss, he would show up and like recognize that, like, oh, okay, these people are tired, or like my workers today, my little cousin today is tired. So it's my job as the boss to, like, I'm gonna be goofy. I'm going to get out of my truck and I'm going to be tall. I'm going to stand tall and I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to, like, try to get the mood going. Like, and I notice he does that for me. Like, I'll get out of my car. It's like an early, like, I just worked last night. I wake up early and I'm here to pour concrete. Like, on the surface level, I could be like, Jesus, man, like, I'm here to pour concrete and I'm exhausted. This sounds terrible. But from far away, I get out of my car. He's like, yo, what's up? Like, he's got this energy right away. And it's this thing that he turns on. Like, you know, sometimes he may not feel like that, but I know him. He's explained this to me, and it's something that he turns on with himself, and that sparks the people around it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm already pepping my step as I'm walking towards the guy.
I'm feeling that energy.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's it's a responsibility that like leaders, you know, of whatever aspect or whatever, like if you could be the boss, the leader, you could take that role, but also I think recognizing just how much influence we have over just our friends, our coworkers, the mood that we bring, the state that we bring, the story that we're telling ourselves that day has a huge power to affect other people's moods.
And it's a serious trickle effect. Like, I mean, I've seen it physically happen within myself for others who have done it for me, and me, myself, who has done it for other people. It's, I mean, especially just at little house parties and things like that, kick in the door, show up, give people a hug. How the fuck are you? You know, sort of thing. Excuse my language. But
explicit content.
I know.
Now you have to check that box, man.
I gotta figure out the F word, man. It's just such a nice little filler. It's just,
oh yeah, I'm a potty mouth, dude. I managed a skate shop for a while. I definitely cussed my face off all the time.
Dude, you want those fucking socks over there, dude? They're on sale.
Fucking welcome to the fucking store, bro. What the fuck is up?
Yeah. And they're like, bro, dude.
That's the conversation. If you're skateboarding and you walk into a skate shop, that's how it goes.
Yeah, seriously.
You start cussing at each other, calling each other bro, and then all of a sudden you just bought some stuff.
You just like truck slap them across the chin, and you're like, dude, did you feel that grip tape? And then he's just like,
and they're like, yeah, it was hanging. Burly, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude, gave me a face burn, dude. Felt like the fucking kickflip I hit yesterday. Hit the cement.
You know? That was burly.
Yeah, dude, that was sick.
This is exactly how skate shop conversations go. Just for real. Who don't know.
Dude, I want to go work in this. I might.
It is
honestly,
kind of like that.
It's so weird. Like starting your own business, you're doing all this stuff. A lot of the times we're like working by ourselves at home. I'm like, dude, like knowing that like I don't need another job kind of makes you want to like go get another job at like just like for shits and giggles, like just to go hang out at a at a spot that you feel like is cool. I feel like a skate shop or like something like a small little like place like that would be so fun.
You're not working a ton of hours. You're just there to vibe out for a few hours a day.
I'm 1 day a week at fucking 3 hours. You know,
you get to meet some cool people who are just pumped to buy some stuff or pumped to like see you and match your energy.
You got like 15% off the clearance section too.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
15% off the clearance section.
Off the clearance, dude.
Man, we're being generous.
Dude, Brock's got it like that.
Oh
you
boy.
know, he runs the shop.
He does.
So
he hooks it up.
He hooks it up for sure. Wherever you're at, Brock, I fuck with you. Now, I forgot where I was going with this.
Bringing that energy, bringing that mood, controlling your mood.
Oh yeah,
you can control your outcomes.
Yeah, it's again, it's something that you completely control with yourself. It's self-control. It's self-analyzation. It's self-recognition, and I feel like that's one of the hardest things about life. It's something that I see in others that they struggle with, and it's something that I see within myself that I struggle with a lot. It's like we're all trying to figure ourselves out constantly. Like, you know, like I could do something new, and after I've done it for a month, I'm like, oh, like, man, I just did this for a month, and it felt really good for like 2 weeks, and now I don't know what I want from life anymore. Like I don't feel any energy. I don't understand why. Like I'm not feeling anything. And again, goes back to depth and understanding yourself within depth. And like you have to check off the list of from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, what transpired within that time. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the times you can't even remember what you ate for breakfast. And like I can't sometimes remember the conversations I had with people in my life, things like that, earlier in the day. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's a practice to continue to recognize that, continue to understand what you're saying, like hear what you're saying, mm-hmm. and think right before you speak sometimes, or think while you're speaking. Like you say something and you go, holy shit, what did I just say right there?
Yeah. Do I want to say that? What did I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and then allow yourself the room to like really, really explore, what did I mean? What am I trying to say? What am I trying to accomplish? What am I trying to even... A lot of times you'll listen to yourself and you'll be like, oh, I'm just like bullshitting so I can get this feeling, so I can get this reassurance. Or like I think artists probably go through a lot, or especially people in the age of social media will be saying shit, or will be explaining ourselves away or like observing our thoughts of what we're doing, and we're like, oh shit, I was just trying to get some validation. I just went on a 30-minute rant to try to get validated, or I just went, I did this thing, or I learned it this way, or acted this way, so I can, feel I'm gaining this attention in this way.
Yeah.
You gotta watch yourself, because you'll trick yourself.
Oh, you will, for sure. I think one of my biggest problems is like wanting to get my ego stroked. A lot of the times, like if I post on social media, like obviously I'm posting something that I've put a lot of time into, and I want people to love it. I want people to comment on it. I want it to, be felt by people. And sometimes I'll get consumed by that, just like, well, there's other people also creating art out there that want the same feeling. And if you're just focusing on yourself, you're just kind of being selfish a little bit. Or if I'm in social situations, I'm like, I want to be the funny guy in the room, or I want to be the intelligent person in the room, or I want to be the topic that people are talking about sometimes. And I'm like, it's not, I don't need to do that. I need to be present for others. Like there are other people's lives going on. They have things going on that you've never experienced before. And they have stories to tell, and they have, they have interesting lives. And I feel like we're really focused on inward and projecting your life outward to everyone and letting everyone know. And it's a dangerous place. It's a fine place where you gotta like have that confidence where you can show up and have something to say, but also learn when to take a step back and let other people shine and have that moment.
Right. Yeah, like am I trying to be so bright that I'm like smoldering other people in the room?
Yeah.
Am I trying to like take all the cameras in the room and make sure they're facing just me, and so I'm cutting other people out of the frame? And I don't know, I feel like sometimes we do that. Do you ever deal with social anxiety at all? Like you walk into a room and you're like, oh man, what do people think about me? Or like
I definitely do. I think I think a lot of people do. Even if you project yourself as a confident person, if you feel like you are being cool and calm and collective, once those other kind of conversations take place, and you kind of like, it's kind of like that spotlight hits you in your own head, where it's like it's all dark around you and you're just the spotlight, where no one's talking to you, and you're just kind of the lone person in the corner, kind of like trying to find a way to get into other people's conversations, because you are just like, no one's talking to me right now. What's going on? Yeah. That social anxiety immediately creeps in. And I just try and work on like being okay with myself. Like, are you okay with yourself? Like, be ready if someone wants to talk to you. Be aware of certain conversations. Try and spark certain conversations.
Right.
Don't be obnoxious. Don't be loud. Don't be, trying to be the center of attention and saying the Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me. Ha ha.
You got can do.
Dude, I love that shit.
That's a great episode of Rick and Morty.
I really feel like that sometimes. And that's something that I really want to check, is like, I don't want that like, look at me sort of thing. I'm like, I'm.
Yeah. I think social anxiety like shows up as that, like, look at me, or like or even like a don't look at me. Yeah. Like, oh, is everyone looking at me? Oh, I wish they didn't. Or like, you know what I mean? Because that's a lot. You walk into, like, that's when we want to drink, when we're like, oh, I'm stressed that everybody's looking at me, everybody's judging me. What do they know about me? What have they heard about me? What do they expect me to show up as? Like, whatever is crossing your mind. I think that a great way out of social anxiety, you walk into a room and just really just like wonder about other people. Like, what can I learn about other people? Like, what are other people thinking? Like, there's this balance of, I wonder if everybody likes me, and then also, but I wonder if I like these people. Yeah. And there's a little bit of like safety in there though, because you don't just want to walk in like, I wonder if I like these people, like, because I'm the shit and they ain't the shit, and they need my approval to even get my full attention. Yeah. Like, you don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to go in cocky, because you're almost blocking the energy of what anybody thinks about you. So,
or the possibility, you're already blocking the possibility of possibly making friends, possibly having great conversation, possibly just having a great night. The possibility is infinite about what can happen. And like you said, you you have control over situations that you don't necessarily know before they even happen. Before it even happens, you have to check in and make sure that, I mean, it's not like this anxiety thing where you're sitting there and you're like, I got to be okay. I got to be smart. I got to be consciously aware of what other people are saying. I got to be this. I got to be that.
Right,
it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to relax and go into this. Like,
Just be there.
Like it doesn't matter because I'm just me, and whatever happens, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope people like me. I hope I'm cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope all this happens, and, we'll see how it goes. But also, like, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing my part. I'm showing up as me.
Right.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm showing up as me, bro. No matter
I'm
where
gonna
I
be
go.
me. Like, and how do I listen to these people and allow them to be them?
Yeah.
Without, because sometimes when we're like trying to interject ourselves or like make sure they know who we are or what we're about, we're like, again, we're smoldering them. We're taking the oxygen away from them. Just go in there and with the mindset to learn. Like, you walk in the room of like, what can I learn about these people? Because when you're so busy with yourself, you're just taking away your attention from learning all these things about other people.
Yeah.
And
this ability to really listen. I see a lot of the times, like, going into social situations, especially before COVID and things like that, is people talking. I mean, this happened to me before, where people would talk and they would be telling me a story, and I would immediately be thinking about a story of mine that resembles their story in a way that I can tell. So I'm not necessarily listening. I'm not absorbing. I'm just thinking about what I want to say next. And that is something that I've been trying to practice and learn. And the ability to absorb freaking sound waves in your head and really hear what people are saying is a beautiful thing. It allows for deeper connections with people. It allows for people see when you're really, really, really listening. Like, you could see it in their eyes. You can really connect with people, and it's really awesome. Like, seeing people's perspectives or in their stories, and seeing that their shoulders kind of loosen when they're telling a story, because they might have anxiety when they're telling it, and then you really kind of lean in a little bit and open your eyes.
like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving space for you. There's a runway.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell on, brother.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, he's listening. He's listening to me.
Yeah.
And boom. And it allows them to open up and become more of themselves for the situation. And that's a beautiful thing. I love seeing people unclench, that unhinge of just like, I have all these social anxieties in my head about, who I am and what others think about me. And at the end of the day, like, unless you're hurting people, unless you're a negative person, unless you're doing all this stuff, like, for myself, I'm going to give you your time. Like, I'm going to let you, I want you to be you. I want to see who you are. I want to see exactly what you're about. I'm going to repeat this real quick.
They probably have.
There is something, but it's like $600.
Of course it is. It's like buying a new camera.
I know.
But yeah, I think what you're saying is correct, man. I think, like, by, when it comes to listening to people, when it comes to, because that's something like, I mean, I've got almost 70 episodes of the podcast under the belt, and just noticing how, whether we call it ADHD, whether we can, like, talk about how our phones and social media and our way of just being very fast paced has, like, made our attention very fragmented. Everything's memeified. Oh, yeah. Everything's condensed down. Everything's summarized. It's the way, like, that society communicates, the way that, like, the human being is going is like this bite-sized chunk. Like, so I think that a lot of people, as we're talking, as someone's listening to us, it's almost like you get to this point of, like, oh damn, like, they're actually still listening. Like, right. And I just realized, like, I don't know what I'm saying exactly. Like, what am I saying? I think that there is like magic that happens, in conversations when you just allow someone the space to expand on what they're talking about, or and like you were saying, a lot of times we don't realize that we're just waiting for our turn to talk. Like, okay, this is the story that I have. That's just like the one that you have, but it happened to me. And so I'm going to tell it. And that is a way of conversation. But I don't know. I think you get to deeper depths of people when you allow them to explore areas of their own dialogue that they have never even explored. You just listen to them and just like respond to what they're saying. And, you're exploring the conversation. Like we've talked about the third, like when you're having a conversation and you almost get going on the same subject for a while, you're almost creating a third, like, observer or a third person who's like now watching the conversation as a whole. The conversation is now its own thing with its own subjects, and you're kind of like drilling into it and exploring it and taking your little brush and dusting off the sand from the fossils of like the ideas that are in our head.
Yeah.
And there's magic to be found there for sure.
Oh, there's so
letting
much
people
magic.
talk, exploring podcasts.
Yeah.
These like, think about what the podcasting boom is going to mark as like the beginning of this thing in years and years. Like it's the rebirth of long form content and, cavemen having conversations at fires.
Well, you see how explosive it is, and you see how drawn people are to it. It's like Joe Rogan is something that I listen to. I love watching Theo Vaughn. I love watching Brandon Schaub. I love like his little crew of people that do podcasts, even some of the philosophers and things like that. They go so deep into conversations and they allow each other to expand on certain topics. I mean, obviously, there's some people that have studied these topics so in depth that it's just extremely interesting. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that. And to hear it straight from the source of like the professional, you're not seeing it on TV with all these like effects or like, anything like that. It's like the guy who fucking put the hours in to understand.
He's like, so last year I was in Egypt exploring this artifact, and you're like, oh shit, you're the guy. You were the one doing it. This is not like written from 7 layers down. This is you.
Yeah, that honestly is like an extremely entertaining factor, but also the fact that just the perspective of so many people, the styles of language, the style of just communication is so cool. It's so cool or you'll watch a comedian and you'll kind of see they'll go over a topic and you'll just see how fast they have a joke for it. That you see how fast they can create a topic out of nothing and bounce back ideas back and forth. You're like, shit, that's so cool, man.
I mean, it's like a freestyle hip hop artist, a freestyle rapper. The same sort of thing. Like, it's like, give me a subject and I'm going to explore what I don't know that's already in me, but I'm going to find a way to make it rhyme too.
And then it just starts flowing. And as you continue to converse, it just, grows into infinity, essentially. It can go anywhere. It can go absolutely in any direction possible. And that's why I wanted to keep this podcast. Like, I get nervous sometimes before the podcast because I literally am not thinking about it. Whoops, that's my girl. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to ask you. I'm not thinking about what we're going to talk about. I really, really, really am trying to do this off the top. And it's scary because sometimes I'm like, oh, shit, I'm drawing a blank. But no, it's beautiful. I love having these conversations. I love getting to know myself in a deeper way, getting to know you and other people in a deeper way. Like I'm having a photographer on in the next couple of days, and we've worked together multiple times on projects, but I don't know her. You know what I mean? Like, we get along really well. We hung out for 12 hours, like 4 times in a row, creating together, collaborating, working together, all this stuff. Great job. I had a great time. Now I want to see, who she is outside of that. I like seeing who people are outside of their creation, outside of their craft. And that's something that was always pushing me towards podcasts and also pulling me away. Like, if I do this, I'm exposing who I am as a person. I'm exposing my thoughts that go up in this fucking noggin sometimes when I'm like just here alone or while I'm out with friends or while whatever. Like, it's scary. It's very scary to expose yourself in this amount of depth. And you could be wrong. And I probably am wrong a lot of times. And,
for sure.
It's just an experimentation. I'm just trying. I'm just trying to understand myself. I'm trying to understand you. I'm trying to understand this reality.
Right.
And that's it's what brings me on to the next topic.
Oh, hit me with it.
I mean, trying to understand reality it's cool.
Yeah.
What's cooler is virtual reality.
Virtual
Oh
reality.
my God, I want to get a little fucking crazy here.
Okay, so I feel like I got a good jump off for you. I was listening to just this morning. I was listening to some Terrence McKenna, and
I'll go listen to him if you haven't.
oh man, I love
Blow
Terrence
your
McKenna,
mind.
man. He's one of
That'll
my
blow your
favorites.
mind.
He's him, Alan Watts, Ram Dass. I always have them on like in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Tinder profile. Alan Watts,
Oh
Ram
my
Dass.
God.
I'm
Just
gonna
the
put that-
three of them, just like
Yeah.
back to back.
Yeah, and I'll Photoshop
chucking
myself
up
in there.
gang signs like the Vata fucking on your knees.
They're all wearing
or
bling.
shit. Yeah.
Alan Watts is wearing a do-rag.
Dude, they got fucking cholo socks on and the Dickies and then the
Word,
button-up
yo,
shirt
if I
right
saw
here.
if I went to Zoomies and I saw that shirt available, I would buy it so fast.
Yo, Zoomies make that shirt. I will
Zoomies, somebody make that
make
shirt
a hoodie
for
out of
real.
that. I will be.
Yeah.
I won't
Okay.
fund it because I can't, but
Yeah, but I'll buy one.
I'll
and then
buy
I'll fund
one
it that
for
way
sure.
for $20.
for sure, sponsor me. Just throw it over here.
But so just talking about communication and the way that we communicate, and you know, like we use words. Language is kind of what creates our reality, what creates our culture, what creates, you know, we have our five senses, and then we've learned through hundreds of thousands of years as biological creatures that we can move our mouth, and it correlates with being able to like point to things. Like you can say banana, and when you hear when your ear waves vibrate and you understand banana, you know that I'm saying say on the desk there was a banana.
Mm-hmm.
You're connecting with the object that I created with my words. This is a form of communication. And I think if we look at what are the humans doing, we're learning how to communicate to survive, but now we're on this next step of evolution where we're like creating something, where I think that we're on the precipice of creating a new form of communication, and I think that it's going to populate itself in the form of virtual reality.
Yeah.
And I think that what we're leaning into is deeper understanding of communication. I think that Facebook and Twitter and just the condensed memeified version of our words, of our language, if we really look at what we're doing, we're trying to communicate something much deeper in our psyche, in our body, in our, like, you know, whether you visualize the world in your head in pictures or images or both or some other way, you're trying to communicate what's happening out here with words. And I believe that virtual reality, like augmented reality, the things that we're creating through technology, is going to be another way of painting a picture, showing it to someone, and triggering an emotion within them.
Oh yeah.
Another way of communicating.
Yeah. And
Do you need to reset that? Did it go off?
I don't think it did, but I'll do it anyways because I don't think I set the timer. A lot of people nowadays are posting experiences. Essentially, they're wanting to show the world their life and their experiences and the really cool and neat things that happen. Also, it's a great way to cherish memories and just hold on to life a little bit more clearly than usual. And a big problem nowadays with social media, Facebook, all that stuff, is the fact that there's a comparison between your life and other people's lives. And I think with virtual reality, there's going to be this weird barrier that gets broken, whereas once a sensory system gets integrated into a virtual reality, like a haptic suit or something like that, that's when you're going to start being able to fully experience other people's reality. As far as, like, let's say you have a Facebook post and a Facebook video. You went snowboarding and you put on, for the sake of this, vision or whatever, GoPro on your head, and you're skiing down the Alps or snowboarding down the Alps and you hit a fucking backflip and a jump and all this stuff. One day you will be able to look at someone's video and it'll say, would you like to experience this?
Yeah.
And you say yes.
Strap in, yes or no?
Strap in, yes or no. Boom, yes. You go in there.
Word.
And all of a sudden you're experiencing someone else's reality in your own life. And I think there might be a new commodity of people who experience for the creation of other people who can experience.
Right.
I think that's really close, actually. I think that's a lot closer than we anticipate.
I think a lot of this stuff is a lot closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah, because there's my little brother always talks about it when I get on the phone with him. It's really cool because he has an Oculus, and he's always kind of keeping me up to date on like what's going on with it. And he says there's like a little lobby that's kind of like the Wii Home. You know how like you have your character and you can kind of run around a little bit. Well, there's like the games, obviously in Oculus, that you can go and play, but there's a lobby that you can go, and they have rooms where you can experience people's like designs essentially. But Oculus has allowed the everyday user to create its own rooms. So if you're a coder, you can go into the Oculus program and you can code your own room in reality that everyone who has an Oculus can experience.
Right.
Now, use the power of AI that simultaneously collects all the information and feeds you your absolute best reality, can create a world that suits your favorite reality that you now get to experience. That is so crazy because it's everything you're ever going to want, you know, and it's going to give you everything you need with sensations, with everything. And just, we're in such a stick and stone sort of age with technology that it's like, oh, it's not that bad, you know, I could just unplug and it'll be fine. But I mean, we might not be alive for it, but maybe 100 years from now, it's going to fool you so much that you'll forget you're in reality and you will matrix and go straight into virtual reality and go, holy shit, like I woke up and I'm a bird now and I can fly, and you're flying and you have the sensation of flying, and you fucking shapeshift into a wizard, and then you're just like fighting demons, and then you fucking look to your right and a Ferrari pulls up and you're like, I'm getting in that bitch, and you're driving. Now you're in a race and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, how many times of that, or how long do you get to do that until regular life starts seeming so boring? Regular life is just going to be this bland, like dry piece of chicken that you got to eat every day. And I think it's going to have interesting repercussions for what humanity does after that. Like we're going to get sucked into that vortex of like, oh, we just need to build more on this virtual reality thing because the human brain wants more and more and more, and the biochemicals are being like
enticed.
Enticed, exactly. Like, I think virtual reality, it's just like I was saying, you know, the silly little blue bird of Twitter. Yes, it's the place where we make jokes, and it's the place where we see memes, and it's the place where we like have young kids talk to each other, but it's also the place where like big decisions are made and big influences are sparked, and it's the place where I can talk to somebody across the world. Like, it's this profound place at the same time. I think that we're going to have video games are going to be the way in, obviously, for virtual reality, but what it's going to do also, along with video games, is change the human consciousness. It's going to spark ways of communication that are completely unfathomable right now. I'm having a tough time with words today.
It's okay. No, it
should have took my lion's mane.
Because we're being sold on essentially like video games. You see how enticing they are, and you'll be sold on video games integrating you into virtual reality. But also now there are I don't know, like the app Netflix, my little brother was saying, you can pick a location where you want to watch Netflix as your avatar. And one of them is like at a lodge, essentially, and there's a campfire in front of you, and there's a lake in front of that campfire, and you're sitting around it with friends that are other avatars that you can invite in, and they're like sitting right next to you. You can hear them, you can communicate with them. There's a fucking 100-foot floating TV that is floating above the moonlight, that is playing your favorite movie, playing your favorite show, binge watching with your friends. So you're not missing out on this social interaction. You're not just like at home, like thumbing, like, I wish my friends were here, da-da-da. Like, no, now you can interact with them. And once the ability to have your perception of reality gone, the ability to, if you're falling, you feel the effects of falling in a game. And maybe it might need to be a whole like circular suit, thing that freaking simulates movement and things like that. But I feel like we'll see it in our lifetime where people just get sucked into that world, and currency is going to be sucked into that world because that is a commodity. That is going to be everything. Like you already see Apple Pay, on your phone, on your watch, on all this stuff. It's like, that's a commodity. It's faster, it's more convenient, it's more personal, it's really secure. Now they're gonna have this virtual reality where your entire being, all my shit is online, like all my passwords, all my bank account stuff, it's all integrated online now. So why wouldn't I have it where I have a secure domain inside of a virtual reality with all my belongings and all my things, and a way to transport information.
Yeah, like your character in the virtual reality wears a wristwatch that holds and houses all that information.
Yeah.
And so in the virtual reality world, all you got to do is just flash your wristwatch. It's just like sliding your card, your debit card, and it just has it all
your physical avatar is just the.
Oh yeah.
You don't even need a wristwatch. You're a walking code. Yeah. Essentially, like you're a genetic makeup is a virtual person.
I mean, it makes you really wonder, like, because it's going to make us question, like, what even this is, just on a much deeper level. Like, because we don't, I think that a lot of us are under the impression that this is all figured out. Like, physical reality, we know what's going on here. It's like, oh, yeah, maybe some people believe in God in that way, but mostly science has it figured out, and here's what we are, and here's what we're doing. And it's like, none of that is like hard T, capital T truth.
Oh, no.
Like it's just the best of our ability, the best of our senses, the best of like our technology has been able to figure out. So, I mean, I think along with all the crazy, awesome, fun, cool, entertaining, like being able to like watch your favorite movie over a beautiful lake with your homies right next to you. That's so cool.
That's
but
crazy.
I think that it's going to make us, there's going to be a lot of undeniable truths about like, what are we? What is going on here? And what are we trying to accomplish? Like, why are we just trying to entertain ourselves in this way? What are like, if you are looking down at the earth as an alien and you're like, what are the humans doing down there?
Yeah.
We got to ask ourselves like, shit, man, what are we doing? What are we creating? Why are we creating it? What's going on? And I think there's going to be some cool, profound answers to be found.
There's going to be some shit that goes down. There's obviously, we like to look at the positive, and hopefully everything we're chugging towards is the greater power and the greater good and betterment of humanity. But we run blindly towards the unknown, especially with a power like AI, with a power like an augmented reality where you will not understand. We can't perceive it right now because it doesn't exist, but we won't be able to understand that the speed in which you text your friend information is the speed in which your reality will become. Like, you as an avatar experiencing a virtual reality will be as fast to travel from one created augmented planet to another. You will be able to fucking fight demons in hell and then jump and go to heaven and have tea with a British version of Jesus. Like, if you want, you know what I'm saying? Like the Beatles or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's infinity. It's literally just like whatever you want. It's a new dimension of dimensions of dimensions of dimensions of dimensions into infinity. It's, once you go in, you're going into everything imaginable. Anything imaginable. It's like the Big Bang just got created in AI and virtual reality being paired together. It's an explosion of just whatever can be created. And if you allow AI to do it, it's just going to code every possibility of every outcome of every scenario of every piece of data that's ever been collected.
It's just doing the job it was programmed to do. It's going to keep doing it.
It's just, this worked in 1987 where people loved ninjas and fucking Mortal Kombat came out, and now it's a world of Mortal Kombat people that just fucking go get a baguette and then beat the shit out of each other.
So do you think it'll be like we'll have an experience where we're strapped in, we're sitting in real life, we're sitting in a recliner, we're at like a mall booth, and this is like the future of virtual reality, where it's basically like whatever thought you think, you can just say, yeah, I want to do that, and you're just doing that.
Oh, it'll get there.
But how will we experience the perception of time within that? I think that's going to be interesting.
That'll be interesting.
I mean,
because time flies when you're playing video games.
well,
dude.
I think that society is doing, not just society, I guess what the humans are doing is increasing time. The humans, like I'm not one of them or something. Those humans down there. No, like time really is speeding up. Like it's such a hard concept to wrap your head around, but the rate at which things happen is experienced by humans. Like if time is something we use to organize our lives, but if we look at how much better let's say my age, like how much better I am at the things that I'm good at than 200 years ago, someone my age. Like the things that I have experienced in my lifetime so far is just, that would be mind blowing to someone 200 years ago. They wouldn't even be able to think about like, how have you experienced that many things?
Yeah.
Like that seems like the answers to all my problems.
Yeah.
How quickly do, how I can communicate an emotion. I could, back in the day, I write you a letter and it goes through the post and it takes you a few days and then you read it and then you have a reaction to it. You write me a letter right back. But now I can be feeling a feeling and send it directly to you. I can text it to you and then now you're feeling that feeling. The rate at which we're able to communicate and connect and explore ideas and experience ideas is ever changing. It's ever swift and it's happening faster and faster.
Yeah.
And I think that what we call our reality, our experience of what this is, has a lot to do with time. I think there was something we were talking about on the phone the other day that had to do with this. I think I was talking about the movie Arrival.
Oh yeah. I haven't watched that yet.
I
really want to watch that.
Yeah, it is pretty profound. I mean, to really start thinking about time, I'm obsessed with time. It always
It's
just,
super fascinating.
It plagues me. I have like my sleeve is a representation of time, and like I don't know exactly what it meant when I got it. I was just like, time is cool and it fascinates me and blah blah. And I have this like obsession with Einstein and like time when it comes to that. I don't know. I always think about it. It's something that's hard to contemplate because you're in it. It's like but I don't know, man. I think that the effects on how we perceive time as humans is going to change when we really step into this virtual reality world.
Yeah. I think we're going to be sold on the same way we're sold on data and speed now, as far as like every phone commercial that you ever see, everything you pay for, essentially, like every service that you have, is speed and efficiency. It's how fast can I get this? New 5G is faster than ever. It's more reliable. It's more wide range. You can get it anywhere. It's fucking now.
Yep.
And humans, this meat sack is too slow. It doesn't get from here to China now. It gets from here to China in about 15 hours. It gets from here to the grocery store too long compared to me texting the grocery store and say, hey, start picking up all my stuff.
Yeah.
Leave it at the front. We're already being sold on the speed. Now you're going to be sold later on, okay, we found a way to harness you as a being, and as like we followed all your trends, we followed everything that you do throughout your day. We know who you are. We can create a simulated version that is you, and now you are the speed. You are data. You are anything you want to be. You can create whatever you want. You can look however you want. You can be wherever you want. You can fucking do whatever you want. In this virtual reality. You will be anything and everything. And you can also communicate with friends and hang out, and it'll feel like reality. You just get to do everything.
Yeah. Well, fucking sign me up, man. It sounds great.
I mean, like, it's like, well, I kind of want to do everything before. It's like, you want to ski with Sasquatch? Like, go skiing with Sasquatch.
But
like,
you don't have to hop in the car. You don't have to spend a 2-hour ride. You don't even have to hop on the lift anymore.
No.
You get to just go, you want to just teleport to the top of the mountain and snowboard down it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what you get. You get to cut out all the silly stuff in between.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah. And there's, I think it was either me and you talking about it or me and Nate talking about it, but talking about eating too much cake, having dessert every meal takes away from the satisfaction of it being dessert. It's eating broccoli and veggies and whatever Monday through Friday, and Saturday comes around and you're like, oh shit, I'm about to splurge on this cake, you know?
No, that really is what it is. Yeah. It's we don't realize that the things that we value in life aren't because we can have them at all times. Like I'm craving a piece of chocolate cake. Oh, it sounds so good. You're just daydreaming about it. Like we've all experienced that, like that craving for a delicious piece of cake, whatever it is, that's our favorite thing. And you eat it, and within 4 minutes, you're like, okay, I've had enough. Like you can't just keep eating it for hours and hours and hours and experiencing that same thing. I mean, if you look at yourself 10 minutes after you indulged in that cake, it's the opposite of what you want. You're like, get this taste out of it. I almost want water, another drink, to rinse the taste of chocolate out of my mouth that I was dying to have a few minutes ago. Yeah. And that is what our life is about. Like what we do and what interests us and what we're sparked by is things that are fleeting, is things that we can never hold on to. Yeah. But it will be interesting when we're able to hold on to these things for as long as we want. Like, is there going to be a virtual reality situation or a game where it's like, we have captured your senses and your taste and your smell and all of that. And so you get to just eat cake for 30 hours and you never get sick of it. Like,
what
if
you
just
full or anything?
Yeah.
Or it's like, maybe that's where the challenges may arise. Like, we've taken away certain things from your avatar, and to get it back, you have to go through these challenges and stuff, and you lose the sensations, and that therefore gives you meaning in, achieving tasks and goals. And it's like, you don't lose satisfaction in doing anything. You're just like constantly finding a way to entertain yourself and to feel something, you know. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's interesting talking about it. Like, honestly, we could be completely wrong, and totally it flops, and we just live this finite life of being a human and experiencing the way that we are, which really isn't that bad, dude. It's really, I know it's long sometimes. I know that shit gets boring sometimes. I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating. I know that paying your taxes and fucking dealing with Karens is really annoying, but it makes life fun. It makes life so worth living. And like, somebody asked me the other day, they were like, when's the last time you cried tears of joy? And I mean, I can ask that to a lot of people, and like a lot of people probably couldn't remember the last time they did. And that's something that I feel like everyone should kind of be striving for. Is like, give yourself meaning, give yourself purpose, give yourself a reason to wake up, and realize that reason takes a really long time to fulfill. And that is so much, that's inspiring. That's like, I have something to work for. I have something to wake up for. Because 2 years from now, I'm going to feel the shit that I'm feeling now. I'm going to realize that every day waking up, running 4 miles and continuously growing that pace and that amount of time that I'm running, I can run a marathon. And once I cross that finish line of that marathon, I've just fucking successfully completed the gauntlet. I've went through shit to try and get to this point right here. That is meaning. That feels good.
Right. That
feels good. And we don't feel that enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it kind of just reminds me of that phrase of like, choose your pains, or choose your like you either you either choose regret or the pain of enduring the things that you want to do. Like, so it's like, oh, I want to be a DJ. Well, I know damn well it's going to take a few years of studying. It's going to take me learn how to use a computer. It's going to take me learning all this music. I'm going to have to learn how to beat match, all these things that go into it. So you either choose that, or you choose the regret of that feeling of like, man, I wanted to be a DJ for the last 7 years, but I just didn't believe in myself. And so I never once even picked up a pair of headphones. So, and you feel that regret, you choose that pain later in life, or you choose the pain of like picking up a damn machete and wearing some shorts through some sticker bushes and taking a walk,
Yeah.
You just got to grunt through it, but it's going to happen.
I'm telling you, those sticker bushes don't hurt as bad after your legs are all just torn up. You're like, I'm so used to this.
I have a goal. I have a thing I have a thing that I'm marching towards, man. I'm blazing a trail here. Yeah. Like, I'm not focusing on, like, the sticker bushes aren't everything in life. No. They're not the only things. Like, the thorns in my side aren't the only thing that's going on. It's just, that's just what happens when you start blazing your own trail towards the things that you want to do.
I mean, if you see like a set of bananas hanging in a tree, and there's sticker bushes in front of you, and that's the only way to get to this banana. You walk through those freaking sticker bushes, but realistically, you're looking up like, is a monkey gonna come and take that banana? Like, fuck, that hurt, but I really want those bananas. You know what I mean? Like, you could see the goal right there. You can see it. It's gonna take some shit to get through. It's really gonna take some hard work, some effort, some pain, some suffering, all that stuff to get through to it. But you're gonna get that banana, I promise you. Like, as long as you continuously believe in yourself and chug through, and like I said, you'll get to a point where there's a super defining moment in your life. Mine came when I was working in the restaurant at the beginning of this year, and I'm making really good money as far as like working in a restaurant. I know what kind of money I could be making in video and photo, and I know that that's not something I want to do, and I'm picking up in photo and video. I'm believing in myself more, and just one thought, like, this can't be my life. This can't be it. This isn't it. I choose for it not to be, and I believe in myself so much that this won't be my reality. I'm choosing for it not to be. And so I walked into the manager's office, looked him in the eyes, like I knocked on the door, looked him in the eyes. He didn't even say anything. It was crazy. He was just like, I didn't even say anything. Sorry. He looked in my eyes and said, "You're putting in your 2 weeks, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." I was like, I'm gone. I can't do this anymore. He's like, "I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming soon. Yeah. I've been feeling it, but I'm proud of you and like for actually going for it. We're gonna miss you, but go out and do your thing." And I was like, oh man, it's the scariest feeling in the world, but also it's like, I mean, I've had negative money in my bank account. I've had all the worst things happen to me as far as like mental instability. Like, I mean, losing people in my life, moving away from home, starting a new life, all the things all happening at once. And when you choose to take control of your life is realistically when everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. And you got to realize that. Like, you have complete control. If something's not working, you got to fix it. You got to recognize that you got to fix it. Mm-hmm. And if it is working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
If it's broken, you better fix that shit because it's not working.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a wonderful life. It's beautiful.
Yeah, certainly can be, man. I mean, it's funny. It's at the same time you gotta like you're almost like squeezing it. You're almost like, okay, I want to get this out of life. Like, I want to make sure that I'm going in this direction. I want to make sure, like, here's what I want to experience. Here's the regrets I don't want to experience. Mm-hmm. Here's the things that I've learned so far, and so now I'm gonna.
Sorry about that.
Now I'm gonna point myself at this direction, but at the same time, there's the analogy of like, lifting up your feet and allowing the river to float you down it. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost just like, I feel like what you got to do in life is steer yourself, like point yourself. Like if you're grabbing your shoulders from behind, you got to like turn the back of your head and be like, "Yo, march, motherfucker!" Like, and whatever happens is okay because you're going down the path of believing in yourself, exploring the world, self-actualization. Trying to experience life to its fullest, which there's going to be bad days. But if like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up after this bad day, or even I'm experiencing this bad day right now. What do I got to do? I got to rub my eyes. I got to do some physical workouts. I've got to get my binoculars out. Okay. Am I still going in the right direction? Does this still feel right? Am I still marching in the way that I should be marching?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's a constant. It's another term for, or another use of the word balance, which is always used, is sometimes you do got to kind of grab yourself and like, okay, which way am I going? Am I on the right path? Mm-hmm. And then you got to let go. Yeah, you got to, okay, now whatever happens, I experience it and I face it head on, because what I need to learn is on the other side of these things that I'm about to experience.
Oh yeah, it's just more of preparation than actually. It's taking control, but taking control without too much control. It's tough because you always want to say like, take control of your life. Like, and then people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to fucking take control of it. And then you turn into a pyramid scheme guy. Yeah. And then you want to take control of everyone else, because you're in so much control that you just need fucking control everywhere, you just walk around with PlayStation controllers because you have that much control.
Oh,
You know,
it's in the game.
So you have to find this weird balance between like that confidence and control, and then taking a step back and being like, I'm gonna let this one kind of ride out, and I'm here for it,
right?
But I'm not in control of it. You know.
I mean, it reminds me of the kind of like of the flow state, or like any artist who's searching for the muse, or any person who's just enduring, even if you don't consider yourself an artist, like someone who's just exploring something or trying to like grab that thing out of the
ether, man.
Yeah, dude, just to grab it, because it's this discipline of, you know, pointing yourself at it. Like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna explore this, and then at some point you got to just let go. Like whether that's, you know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times you can say like weed would help with that. It's kind of like point you in that direction, and like once you're comfortable with it, then you could really just like explore, get out of your own way, step aside get your ego out of the way now that you pointed yourself at this task, and just don't strangle it now. Just allow it to flow to you. Just I write that on my piano. I have a sticky note that says "Don't strangle it," because I'll be writing music and I'll be singing, and I'll realize that I'm just like red in the face and my throat's all contorted, and I'm like trying way too hard.
You want it to be something.
Yeah. I'm trying to recreate something I saw, or mimic another artist that I saw, because I'm looking for that inspiration. But then once I realize like, oh, okay, don't strangle it. It's just relax and allow the idea to flow and see where it goes from there.
And it's hard for a lot of people to grasp that concept of a weird letting go sort of feeling. And not just like letting go as far as like, I'm going to take a deep breath and relax and be completely okay with it. One second, I'm going to repeat this. I'm just going to kind of, you know, let it be in almost a yoga standpoint, but realistically, like giving your ego up, like you're being up for a power that's greater, you know, up. That's what's crazy about things like mushrooms and stuff. I know I talked about this on the last podcast and things like that, but when you do something like this, you are giving up your being, your brain, your mind, like the thing that you hang out with the most. You're giving it a back seat and letting a higher power, like it's like letting a freaking 150-year-old oak tree into your mind and saying, hey, take a seat real quick. I'm going to tell you what I've learned in this life. And it'll just give you the knowledge of the universe on top of the emotion, the extreme emotion of what it means.
Right.
It's the emotion of winning a Super Bowl on top of the knowledge of understanding the universe in one feeling, and you sitting back and just watching that movie play. And then it says, okay, are you ready to come back? And you say, I think so. I think I get it now. And it's like, okay, take my hand. And takes your hand.
Come
and
this
you
way.
step back in the seat and you go, what the fuck have I been doing my whole life? What have I been doing? Why am I mad about this? What does that even mean? Why the fuck do I treat this person like that? Why do I talk shit behind their back? Why do I do all this stuff? Like, I love people. I love experiencing life. I want to experience life with more people. I want to feel this feeling with other people. I want others to feel this kind of love for me. I want to feel this kind of love for others. I want to feel this sort of this intimacy and knowledge and education and emotion, everything like that in my everyday life. I want to feel that, and it'll teach you that, like what it takes to get there. And I feel like that's something that it's so hard because we don't have that in our everyday lives. We don't have that in the way in which your schooling system kind of teaches the kids. It's not integrated in the way a parenting style is, you know. Essentially it's everyone's parenting style is a little bit differently, but you know, I've never heard of anyone saying like, go and, you know, love this kid and give him gifts, the gift of yourself and the gift of emotion and be kind and nice and care. Obviously you're taught that, but you're not taught in a way in which it's I don't know. It's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's more of an experience than anything, but it's with so much depth. Like the depth of love that you have for your mom, the depth of love for your dad, the wisdom of your freaking father coming, grabbing you over the shoulder and saying, "Hey son, this is why we do this. I love you so much. This is why we do this." That feeling is what mushrooms take you to. That feeling, but times a billion, and it's a beautiful thing, and it'll change a lot of people's lives.
Right.
I'm not advocating anyone to go and take it and say that's the end all be all, but I would say if you do it, just keep an open mind, and and it will change your life for sure.
Yeah, I mean, set and setting is one of the biggest things that you'll hear in the whole psychedelic realm of, you know, you kind of, I feel like you get into it what you put in. Like there's people who can heal their PTSD with a session of like they're with the correct shamanistic type people or healers or counselors or therapists, whatever, you know, in the right, it's a comfy couch and they have headphones on, they have music in, they're guiding them through these experiences in their life. Or you can take the exact same amount of this exact same drug and you can go to a party and also be drinking and trying like whatever, like plenty of people have experienced it, and these create different drugs, like because it's not it's the way in which these substances react within our biological being and what it does to our consciousness, which holds who we think we are. It's not just this thing, no matter what, if you take this pressed tablet, if you take this pill, or you take this stack of mushrooms, whatever it is, it's not like you're 100% always going to experience the exact same thing. Like the existence of what you're about to experience for the next 6 hours is in this pill. It's like, no, it's inside you, and what this thing does, what this substance does is it unlocks that part of you, and now you get to experience it. So, I mean, I think even that is just so profound. Like that tells us so many things, like how these plants can unlock these parts in us. It's like, oh yeah, it's just like, do we just forget that we're plants? Like we're
essentially everything, you know?
Yeah, we're the universe experiencing itself.
Yeah.
We are the observer of what's happening. But even in the human body, we're of the earth. We're just the thing that came after apes, and you know, these plants that grew probably long before us, before humans were really a thing, or maybe after we were a thing for a few 100,000 years or whatever. The earth gives us this thing that specifically interacts with like our MAO inhibitors in our gut, which is connected to our brain, and then the experience of what we normally perceive our reality to be is flipped. And I know it's so hard to explain and really wrap your head around. Yeah, but I think when you really realize how, like why, like you ever question why is that? Why is this thing that I can be walking around in the grass and I could pick it up and I could eat it, and it sends me to another universe? Like, what does that say about me? What does that say about this thing?
With also, not only is it sending you to another universe, it's not like this trippy place that gets perceived on TV as like rainbows and colors and fucking magic fairies come and whisper in your ear and tickle your toes. It's literally telling you things about yourself that like your mom wouldn't even know. It's the attributes within yourself saying like, why do I do this? Like, why can't I control my frustration? Why do I get frustrated in the first place? Why is it that I like fucking chocolate cake? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's more in depth. It's the most in-depth conversation you've ever had with yourself, and it's the most real thing. And like I said before, you take a step back. So it's like a universal entity. It's like a different form of consciousness coming in with, it's like talking to a genius, and you're literally like sitting there like, if you ever heard a really smart person talk, you're like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this right now. I'm really trying to wrap my head around this. But it's like a genius gets embedded into your brain, and they say it in a way that resonates with you. And so it's like, I get it now. Like it's like solving a math equation, and you keep getting it wrong the whole time, and then finally you understand kind of how the algorithm works, and you're like, oh, I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
this is how you do it.
Right.
I get it now. I get it. That is the feeling. It's
Yeah.
the I finally understand. I get it now.
Yeah.
I get why I act like this. I get why I think like this. I understand the way in which the world is working that skews my perception of what I really believe life is like.
Yeah.
Like I actually have a choice to affect my reality
Yeah.
in a way that is beneficial for me and for everyone else I love and just for anyone in the universe.
Right.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. It's so crazy. And it's not like a diss to anyone on earth. Like they don't have what it takes to unlock my mind like that. It's just this, it's literally like Avatar where you plug in and you just talk to your ancestors who have experienced life before and say, hey, I've been here for 100 million years.
Right.
I got something to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you real quick.
Yeah, it's like cheat codes for who you really are.
Yeah, it's like up, down, left, right, XB, and then you get the
Yeah.
whole arsenal on your GTA 5 fucking...
and it unwinds your entire like seat. It's not, it's not just you put on VR goggles and you're experiencing something new. It's like it brings you back to like the whole chair where you're at when you put on the goggles. Like like what is this? Like the seat in which you're experiencing the experience of life is shifted and changed and looked at differently.
It's unplugging from the Matrix. Realistically, it's like, I mean, like it can be dramatized in movies and things like that, but it's a real unplug from reality.
Do you think? I think that ideas and art and movies and even like the popular movies, like the hero's journey that's told through stories, the Matrix, like we look at it like, oh, I wonder if that describes reality, but we don't really know where ideas themselves come from. Sometimes I just start thinking like maybe these movies that are popular at these certain times and certain people see them at certain times and they got the right funding for whatever reason and they're these profound ideas and they change what we think about, like, or what we observe or what we as just people watching the movie. It has the power to change when you walk away, you think about life differently. And I kind of wonder, like, maybe movies and games and art really a lot is trying to teach us something through itself. Like it's creating itself through us. It's like, hey, I have this idea. I have this. I mean, like the technology that we have now is a lot based off of movies for like Star Wars or shows like Star Trek and Star Wars, and like you can have this complicated idea where they pretend to be hitting these buttons, and then 20 years later we have that. So that's what we recreated. It's just like watching. You see somebody run the 4-minute mile, and then once you see it, two weeks later, multiple people had run the 4-minute mile. You see someone do a backflip on a dirt bike, then few weeks later, or the next day later, or whatever it was, people are doing backflips on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Do you think? Here's what I'm getting at. Do you think art is, and even technology, is trying to create itself through humans?
Ooh. It's really, really hard to say that, that I believe in that, because my human side wants to.
Beep boop, beep boop.
Yeah, I have two perspectives on that. Like, I definitely have my human side as far as like this is real and this is reality and this is what we're experiencing right now. So this is what I'm going with. And then there's also understanding the power of technology and what it can actually do, as far as not just like being a phone that sends you text, but is the voice of the universe, essentially. Like, everything physical and every interaction in the universe is a math equation. It's down to its very core of everything. The distance between me and you is an equation. The distance between my voice hitting this microphone, the sound waves channeling from this microphone into that device calculating what it's hearing. Everything is an exact calculation, a mathematical equation going off. And that is what AI is. it literally is the thoughts of the interactions of the universe. It's everything. It's fucking everything. And so if it is everything, it can get to a point where it can create everything and come full circle. Because if you find out what God's voice sounds like, it might turn you away and go, hold on a second, you might be getting a little bit too close here. We might circle back around and start from the beginning.
Yeah, you aren't ready to learn that quite yet.
Because I had an interesting conversation with my buddy, and I had heard a theory that God essentially is a form of consciousness, like the universe essentially as a consciousness, and God wants to figure out what he is and who he is. Mm-hmm. And everything in the universe and every dimension and everything is God testing himself to see if he can understand himself. So every possible infinite reality, every interaction in every dimension in every universe is calculated to try and understand what God is and who he is, looking at himself. What is consciousness? Is the free will of people to decide what they want to do. And that freedom is essentially it allows for not predicting exactly what is supposed to happen. Like, your life hasn't already happened. You have free will. You have the decision to make any decision you want, whether I sit here and talk to you or I walk outside and get hit by a car. But that all those realities exist simultaneously at one point, and every reality like that is being calculated into God understanding what he is, and the singularity achieving itself and coming back to fruition.
Right.
I don't know. It's just a theory,
totally.
And it's so hard to wrap my head around it because it's a thought that's a little bit too complex for myself, I think. And it was just an interesting conversation. But
I mean, that's kind of the area in our psyche when it comes to like exploring, philosophy or theoretical ideas or just ideas, I guess, in general, is we can only perceive them at the beginning through the lens of which we know. So like as you're explaining that, you're talking about this thing called God, this one being, and just by default we call it a he. We call it, and it doesn't matter if it's a he or a she or whatever. We're trying to place like, what is this thing? It's like this being, and all the stories that we've been told, and a lot of the great texts that have been passed down, communicated as like a person, because that seems that's just what makes sense to us. That's how we can even understand it.
That's what makes us feel like we can connect with it.
Right. But it's, I mean, and it's hardly even a thing either. It's the acting out of what the universe is doing. Like the universe, like say you believe Big Bang Theory, or the Big Bang Theory, that something happened, boom, and then it's all just rippling out, boom. It's just throwing a rock into the lake and the ripples around it. Like you're just a part of those ripples, and those ripples are God trying to experience itself in every possible experience. But then you run up against things like infinity, or just realizing that you couldn't possibly experience all things, or even wrap your head around what is everything to experience.
Yeah.
And
well, I guess that's why they call it infinity.
Yeah,
it'll go on forever,
never ending.
Yeah,
we're a mere fiber of the carpet of the infinite living room.
Yeah,
it's but
you're not that important. I'm just kidding. You're very important. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, and also I was going to say, when it comes to free will, that's always an interesting conversation. Over the last couple of years, I've read a couple books on free will and kind of contemplated it, and I think that my perception of free will changes. I don't know that we have free will, actually.
I don't either. I assume.
Because we're kind of born into and this is just lack of a better term at all. We're born into like a cage. We're born into a prison is not the correct word. It's not like we suffer it, but true free will, would mean that if I want to turn into a ball of light and escape out that window as a purple being, I should be able to, right? Mm-hmm. But no, I can't, because I don't have that ability. I was born into this body. Like, so my free will is already condensed into just what a human could do. So, okay, human free will. But then I think about all the strongholds, the strangles that genetics provide me, like the things that have happened in my family lineage already take away my free will of being able to do whatever I want physically with my body.
Being able to dunk.
Yeah, being able to dunk. Like, I'm not tall enough, so do I have the free will to dunk? Do I have the free will to be tall enough to dunk, right? Which of course, like, I can learn how to dunk for sure. But
trampoline.
The free will question is interesting because we all have our certain experiences, and when you really think about free will, I think it's important when it comes to things like mindfulness and just perceiving other people. If you think that everybody has the free will to do whatever they want at all times, you kind of have expectations of everyone in an intense way. When you really look at everyone, like, oh, maybe that guy has the free will to not be a bum. Maybe that guy has a free will to, like, not live on the street or make a bed. It's like, dude, just get up. What are you talking about? Like, just get up and dust yourself off and go get a job or whatever. Yeah. But the life experiences that have been handed to him, like, if I had those exact same experiences, I would be in the exact same spot as him. So free will becomes this kind of constricting thing almost to make us feel better about being able to do what we do, but it's not as free as
we perceive it to be.
Yeah, it really isn't.
That's an interesting way to perceive free will, because honestly, it's I mean, you see a lot of the times. A recent story that pops in my head, honestly, is the election, and seeing people like Don Lemon say, like, Donald Trump's a racist, bigot, sexist person, and then I go and have a conversation with a person who leans left, and I ask them about their opinion on the election, and they say, well, Donald Trump's a racist, bigot, and sexist. You didn't allow yourself to, you had the free will to say that, but you didn't understand that your will essentially wasn't provided. You're using the perspective of your life experiences to enable and essentially get to that point in your life. And so our compilation of life experiences skew the raw intention of free will, which free will essentially is so infinite, you know what I mean? You would have to have almost no experiences, and it would be the first time that you ever experience something to enact free will, essentially, because everything is a culmination of experiences smashed together so that you give the answer that you believe is best. Yeah. You know, and so it's...
Did you have the free will to choose where you started from?
Exactly.
I mean, if I ask you... Sam Harris has an example on his Waking Up app. Basically, he's talking about, like, think of a movie, and then you think of a movie. Like, okay, well,
let me stop you here real quick. Sorry.
So Sam Harris basically has this example of free will. Like, think of any movie that you want. Okay, cool. I have the free will to think of any among all the movies I get to think of. I have the free will to choose whatever movie that I want. Okay, my movie is Rocky 2. Like, okay, well, why didn't you choose Rocky 1? And then you also don't have the free will to choose every movie, because you can only choose the movies that you've seen or heard of. There's millions of movies that you've never even heard of. So did you have the free will to choose those movies? No, you didn't. You only had the free will to choose the movies in your life experience. And then why didn't you choose, why would you choose Rocky 2? Why not Jurassic Park? Did you have the free will to choose that in that moment? And then you look at things like marketing. You look at things like, and Sam Harris didn't talk about this, but in my opinion, you look at things like marketing and like the ads that you see when you're watching football. You look at the YouTube videos that you watch. The things that you do populate the most recent movies. Like, if I just saw a poster for a Pokemon movie, my chances of saying, any movie I want, I get to choose any movie I want? Okay, well, Pokemon the movie 2000. My chances of saying that are heightened by me seeing that movie poster a few days ago, because it's more in my recent reality. So free will is a very interesting thing to observe. I mean, these ideas can become like shaky and almost confusing because it's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? I don't get to choose. But
doing with my life?
Yeah, but it's also a way of compassion for other people, because when you just live this like, well, if that was me on the ground as that homeless person, I would just get up and dust myself off and get to work, But he has not been given all the opportunities that you have been given. He has not been given the genetic code that you've been given.
Or he has, and certain things in his life have skewed a different way.
Right.
You just never know. You never know. But you also, like you said, it's a different form of compassion. It's a different form of like humbling, like that overwhelming sense of needing to be in control throughout our lives. When you take a backseat on that and you can balance the yin and yang of a little bit of control, but not too much, that is when you start opening up your eyes to different scenarios in your head and thinking for a second. Like the idea of thought and original thought for yourself gives you that like aha moment within yourself. You're like, what do I think about this? And if you ask yourself why you think about that, and then you delve deeper into that question and you begin to formulate some answers based on that, based on really what resonates with inside you, you start to know yourself a little bit more, and you start to become more confident within yourself and know that I didn't just hear this somewhere. I didn't just watch this somewhere. I took the time to try and understand this. I took the time to dig a little deeper than the average person, and I understand why I believe this. This is why I believe it. And you got to be open to other people's interpretations of that same topic, because they could have done the same thing as you. Just because you dug deeper doesn't mean you're right. Just means that that's what you, throughout your whole life experiences, and the fact that you just dug deeper, this is the answer you got to. The same people do the same thing, and they get to their own answers. And that's when it becomes interesting. That's when you can start having conversations like this. That's when you can have depth in conversation. That's when you tell me something, I go, holy shit, I've never thought of free will like that. Holy shit, I thought it was like this. I thought it was like that. Now you've taught me something. And now I can teach you something about something else, That's how we learn as human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to like open yourself up to it. I feel like this whole time we've just been talking about that, like that strangle and then that let go.
Yeah.
That squeeze or that like point yourself and then let go and let the universe decide, because as much as we want to think that we're really in control, or there's something in control, or even if we find an answer that'll be like, this thing is control and it's pointing us towards this, and this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like there's still a life to be lived in there, At
the end of the day, it's like, bro, Michael Jackson is dead, and that man was so important. That man was so important. Amazing people in this life, Alexander the Great, people like that, Benjamin Franklin, shaped the fabric of our universe. They're dead now. You know what I mean? Like our lives, they're super important, but they're also not. Like nothing is that serious. We all end up going to the same place. We all end up dying. So why would you even go with the experience of trying to believe that everything is so damn serious? Why is everything so serious? Why is everything the most important thing in the universe to you? Why is it that the person in front of you is just driving a little bit too slow for your liking? Why is it that fucking boils your skin? Why is it that, I said I didn't want fucking broccoli on this pasta?
Take it back.
Take it back.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, man. It's not. It's really not. You're going to eat again. You're going to sleep again. You're going to kiss your wife again. You're going to do all this stuff again. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like, stressing there's no need to. It's just, it feels so good to awaken your life and realize that nothing matters and everything matters.
Yeah, it's a letting go of your preferences.
Yeah.
Your preferences, like the reason why you're mad that dude is driving slow in front of you is because you have the preference of him going the exact speed limit. It's not
a great
like
way to put it.
It's not like everybody goes the exact same speed limit. It's like, dude, some person years ago in the government in the town that you live in decided that that's a good speed for that particular road that was built by humans. that doesn't immediately mean that if someone's going that speed, they're an idiot. That's an automatic like, okay, this is a thing that everybody gets road rage. Everybody would be pissed if they were cut off and driving slow.
Yeah.
It's this thing that like we do to ourselves. It's like, oh, okay, I'm driving behind this person and I notice that I'm getting this up. I'm like annoyed. I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like wishing they would go faster. But then you have to have this other moment in your head of, oh, I'm just not getting that preference that I like.
Yeah.
I'm getting that preference where people are
comfort.
going. I like when people go 38 in the 35 so we can all just get there 3 miles per hour faster. But that's just not what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I can be wondering, like, I wish it was different. You can wish it was different all day, but it doesn't actually change what's really happening. And so that's where we have to take control of our own emotions.
And you don't know what's really happening too, because there's times where like I've had certain cargo in the back where it's like it's like a plant that can't fall over, or I have something. Oh, 1 second, I'm gonna. It's you know, something that I need to drive a little bit slower because I might tip and break it, or like I got
like a burrito in the passenger seat.
Exactly. And like I got a tire in my back right tire is getting a little flat, and I feel like it might pop right now. So I'm like kind of just cruising to the tire store. Hopefully I make it. You know, I'm sorry, but the dude in the back is just fucking on his horn or on her horn, just you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I gotta watch fucking.
You're making
Sunday
me later
night
than
football.
I planned.
My friend Jacob is beating me in fantasy. Fuck you. You know, like, God.
I'm going to lose my draft pick choices on fantasy football.
Fucker, dude. They're going to run out of IPAs. You know?
But bro, it's just like you never had those things. You never had the winning fantasy football thing. You just wish that you did. You never had. It's like if you're, I'm getting up, I'm going to drive to the bar and I'm going to have my favorite IPA. You think you're already promised that IPA, but when you get there, whether someone cut you off or whether someone drove slow or not, when you get there, they may not fucking have it.
Yeah.
It may be out.
Yeah.
And
the world is not out to get you either.
Yeah, bro. It's like you gotta. There really is something about rolling with the punches of this life. Sometimes, like, okay, I didn't get what I want. I didn't get my preference, but what life is standing on this escalator and waiting. Like, you just gotta float. Like, okay, this is an experience. You don't have the IPA I want. You don't have the beer I want. Well, I either get to cry about it for the next 10 minutes. I get to get bummed about it. I get to pull out my phone. I get to complain about it on Snapchat. I get to complain about it on my Facebook post. I get to text my friends and say how annoyed I am so I can share this feeling of dread that I'm apparently feeling. Or you can say, okay, well, I can't really lose something I never had, right? What else do you have? Let's try something new today. That's what today is. It's a time to experience a new kind of beer. Today is a time to experience maybe being a little bit late to my appointment because I was behind someone who was late. That's what I'm experiencing today.
And the more reasonable you are, the more honest you are, the more open you are about your situations in life, even if you're late to work and someone is going way too slow, the circumstances always change in life. You know, maybe you were running a little bit late. The ownership is it's everything in life. It's your pride. It's who you are as a being. I feel like we've lost this sense of just like being okay with being wrong, being okay with failing, being okay with just not holding the standard that you're at. It should motivate you to be wrong, to say that, hey, I'm sorry, boss, I was here a little bit late. It won't happen again, I promise. And then knowing that every time you leave the house, I'm leaving fucking 10 minutes early, because if there's someone driving that's 3 miles an hour slower, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. And I'm going to get there 5 minutes early so I don't even push it.
Right.
It's starting a business has taught me that failing is one of the most rewarding feelings that I can feel. It sucks so bad, but it allows the most obvious question to be answered. How do I do this? And you fail and you go, that is not how I do this. Right. That is not the answer. And I know for infinity that I will never do that again because that is not the answer. That certainty in life is that like free will feeling. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the feeling of free will is knowing what is wrong innately inside you. Like if I leave at 5:55, I will not get there even if I'm going 120 miles an hour on time. I won't get there. that's a fact. I'm not going to leave at 5:55 anymore, whatever it is,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that thing's not working for me because I tried it that way. It's not working out for me. I thought that day, that was what needed to happen. I thought that I was on the right path.
Yep.
I thought that it was okay. I justified it by these reasons. But then afterwards, you got to be able to look at it and say, like, oh, shit, I was wrong about that. I was wrong about that. And it's not easy to, like, to
accept.
Not only accept, but to, like, really realize, like, okay, why was I wrong and how was I wrong and what's the best way to fix it? Because there's not always one solid way to fix it. You got to do what works best for you in your own mind. Like whether that's leaving a few minutes earlier, taking a different route to work, or, you know, just whatever. You got to, but that really is this life experience that is how we learn. We've always heard that. We've grown up like, you're going to have to make mistakes and that's how you learn. You got to be willing to fail to get the biscuit. But it's like,
doesn't resonate.
The older you get, though, you do realize, like, you got to, like you think you know so much shit, and then you fuck up, and then a couple months later, you're like, damn, like, I was pretty confident in that stupid decision I made, wasn't I? Like, damn, what a dummy. Yeah. Okay, now I'm not going to ignore that. I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to feel that, and I'm going to make sure I don't do that again. You know, but that's what builds our personality. That's what builds, like, the being within us, the thing that's, like, searching for self-actualization.
Well, that like self-made man sort of statue there, where he's, like, kind of carving himself out. You know, he's just this brick, and he's down to his legs, and he's, you know, carving out the rest of it. I've always tried to do things like at the second half of my life. I feel like once I started understanding myself and my being and stuff like that, I always wanted to do things right. Like, I'm going to try and do this the correct way because I don't want to experience the feeling of failing. Like, I don't want to post this video because I know what I'm doing is somewhat wrong and people can correct that, you know, and I don't want to do that. I just want to come out the blue and I just want to be perfect, you know. Right. And that's not, life is about knowing where you came from and where you got. It's that beautiful road of driving down the road and just hit a nail and you're like, shit. Now I know how to change a tire, and put a tire on, freaking start smoking out the front. And
you gotta fucking show up to the event with a spare tire on the front sometimes. Man.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, shit, sorry guys, I fucked up. I know I'm 28 years old, but I fucked up. But I got a spare tire, and I learned from that. And, you know, next time I'm going to make sure I don't drive like that.
I basically built my car from the ground up. You know, understanding it, and I understand. And if you guys don't recognize, your car is your body. This is the analogy that we're using. Your being is you're a transformer. You're a transformer. You're an Autobot. You're just like that kid online that just tries to go Super Saiyan. Have you seen that video?
Oh yeah, dude. Bless that kid. He's the dopest.
Oh my God, dude. I swear to God, every time I watch that video, I get so much energy.
Yo, I wonder,
like, bro, you know how much yellow energy was just beaming out that house, probably from space. Aliens are probably like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, like this human frequency that they're able to pick up. They're like, dang, what's up? Like, zoom into that house. Is that, damn, that's
what's going on?
That's
right
Kevin? Is that Kevin? Is he
Kevin?
Oh, he fainted. Oh,
the guy in the back was like, Kevin was my pick.
Kevin was my pick.
Yeah.
Who had
He's
Kevin?
on my fantasy. Kevin's on my fantasy.
My
going
human
off right
fantasy
now.
draft.
Aliens got a human fantasy going on.
Bro, they probably do.
Oh my God.
We better get some fucking alien. I mean, we just got to switch the subject into aliens, I guess, because
we
better get some aliens. We've got like 2 weeks left.
Oh, we got some monoliths.
It's the end of 2020.
2020 going on.
Okay, what is the monolith? Like, it's
I
just
have no idea.
Yeah, it's. I've seen like a couple articles. I haven't read it
I
that
think it's
in
people
depth.
fucking around.
It probably is,
but I want it to be something so real.
It makes me believe. I mean, I don't know that aliens are really going to be what we think they are. We think they're just going to be some gray motherfuckers who are about yay tall.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're going to be something that our 5 sense reality perception cannot perceive.
I think that they're like Alex Jones kind of says, because when you trip,
you just said Alex Jones. Your video is definitely getting deleted now.
Shit. God damn it. When he talks about it. He talks about it as like them being interdimensional, and people don't realize, like, when you trip, I've personally, like, gone outside of my physical being and went somewhere else, but it wasn't like in this physical space and physical reality. I was in my mind traveling somewhere else. Like, I I physically went outside of my body.
It holds the experience of another place.
Yeah. And your body literally will go on autopilot. Like, you're just sitting there and you're just like, your body will have conversation. Your body will talk to people. Your body will do whatever. But you and your consciousness will go somewhere else and will like experience aliens talking to you, because it's so complex. It's so new. It's so out of this universe that, and it's not like this crazy thing like Gazorpazorp's coming and telling you that, you know, there's a world full of lollipops and like, if you don't eat all of them, your dad's going to hate you forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
choose your story.
Yeah, it's like some real deep knowledge. Like I was saying, it's like a genius being put in your head. So I definitely think it's more leaning towards that than like a freaking flying saucer coming down and being like, meep bump, you know, suck my finger and retain the knowledge of the universe, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much like from space there will be aliens that come out and they happen to have the same five senses as us. I think I almost think we are growing and adapting and moving into the ability to be able to even speak with aliens. I think that it's just something that's always been there. It's not like, and it's not the same as like, bro, there's a ghost right next to you. You just don't know how to talk to him. It's not exactly that. I think it's the same way that bats have the ability to, you know, bounce echo waves, like slight waves off of to get sonar hearing. Yeah. They combine their two senses, and that's literally how they see, basically. Like their sight is formed by bouncing off sounds against the cave walls, and it comes back to them, and they know, okay, I'm this many feet from the, they don't know in feet, obviously they're bats, but they know that they're this far away from the wall, so they're not going to fly that way. I think that we're going to be able to either combine our senses or combine our existing senses with a new sense like virtual reality technology. And the technology will actually be kind of like a better antenna or a better sense for us to be able to actually open up communication with aliens. And it's not going to be like, hey, aliens, are you there? And they're like, yeah, Bob, you've made it. You're here.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be, I almost think it'll be a very rapid understanding, like not even a conversation, not even necessarily words are how human beings communicate with each other. But I think that there will be
more like energy form.
Yeah, I think, you know, what we call the singularity, I think will be a sudden understanding, but it's almost like like when you're talking about, you know, you take a psychedelic drug and you go somewhere else, and it has this very feeling of like, oh, I'm in a new place, or like even some people experience like machine elves or whatever, and they they're like, yeah, this is in my imagination of sorts, but it's also these are other things that are not me. Like I'm not controlling what these machine elves, so to say, are saying to me. Yeah. So it's not only within your imagination. It's kind of like this other place, this other realm that we get to experience. And yeah. I don't know. I think the singularity, because that's whatever we call that is.
That's what's so weird is when you do take something like that. I mean, people have taken DMT, seen machine elves and stuff, but they comment on your consciousness as far as like, that's what's so weird about consciousness. It feels like it comes from another place, and that other place, it feels like your consciousness travels to, and it's like, hey, welcome back, Jake. You've been acting like a piece of shit on Earth. Yeah. Like you've been drinking 6 cups of coffee and flipping old grandmas off when you're driving past them. Like, what's up, dude?
Take a look at that. They're rubbing our face in our own poop.
Yeah, but it's like other consciousness that like aren't people. They're just like up in another universe that is like a little bit more complex, that it's kind of like the idea of like an angel watching over you sort of thing. But like a bunch of them are like kicking it at a bar, and then you come in and they're like, what's up, bro? I heard you've been fucking doing all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, how'd you know that, dude? It's just like,
because we are you.
Yeah, we are you, and we know you, dude. We know you like you know you. And you're like, oh,
and you're like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah. And it's like, no, I want to go back. Yeah, you can't go back. You got 15 minutes left, bud.
Yeah.
You're sticking with us.
You just took your 3rd hit of DMT, my bro. You're strapped to the rocket now.
Yeah.
Come this way.
Do you believe in the, sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say that video you sent me the other day was so, it's crazy to think about different concepts of aliens and like how they are, and like the Lemurians and the Atlanteans and the people on Mars underneath the surface crust of the universe.
Bro,
So crazy.
Oh, I think. Did you watch that whole video?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
it like the Hollow
Hollow
Earth
Earth one, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I have a few friends who have done like a lot more research than me in that, and they sent it to me, and it's very interesting. I notice how much I want to believe a lot of it, how much I'm like, oh wow, like okay, so we're gonna have like one day where the skies open up and it's just like all of our answers are solved, all of our problems are changed, we're shifting into this new thing. It's hard to know. It's hard because some of that stuff, like we were talking about at the beginning, like just allowing yourself to believe something, like you almost want to like, lift your feet up, like let go and just like really indulge. Like, what would it mean? What would it feel like to really believe this? And what would that mean for my life? And how would I act differently? And you kind of like allow yourself to like fall into the water of that belief for a little bit. And the video you're talking about is I mean, if I just say it's like a Hollow Earth video, that just sounds crazy. Like that doesn't explain it very well. But
knock on the door and it's just that stud in the wall sort of feeling where you're just like looking for the stud and it's like,
yep,
oh, it's hollow right here.
Yep.
There's people under there.
There's people under there. I mean, but
pretty sure we found them already.
We are at this place where so many profound ways of thinking or trying to understand what the hell is going on here is like we're welcoming it, because I think people who like, and again, people who dive into conspiracy theories and people who allow themselves to believe it, like we're just people trying to figure out what's really going on here. Yeah. Like it's this thing innate in humans where we want to know like what's reality and what's this thing and what am I doing? What's my experience in it?
It's weird because we live this reality, but also we're trying to like understand it. But also I think now more than ever, the overwhelming need to kind of know is because of the fact that we're not like worried about surviving anymore. You know, like 200, 300 years ago, 400 years ago, like, man, we were out in the wild just like picking berries and like wondering if a fucking bear's about to just attack us.
Yeah, bro. Going to the moon? What are you talking about building a rocket? That would take a lot of time and resources. We got to make sure we don't get eaten by lions.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Dude, I got this other tribe over there is about to come and rape my bitch tonight, dude. I'm not trying to have that happen.
I got to stay up all night with a sword in my hand for the rest of my life so the neighboring tribes don't come fuck my family up.
PTSD, like, dude. I call that every day, dude.
Yeah, my life is PTSD.
My life is fucking nuts, bro. I can't chill.
But it is really weird, like where we're at. You know, we're at a place where more people are dying from obesity than they are of starving. And that is crazy, man. We're over the wall that we didn't realize we were climbing over. Like we, as humanity, we need to be able to take a look at like, oh shit, where are we at on this timeline of like whatever the humans are doing? Yeah. Like whatever we're going towards, we got to realize that we are that and we're on that. And we should be now kind of adjusting our course, adjusting our GPS of like what humans are doing and what we're thinking about. And now's the time.
There's always the feeling of this can't be all what it seems, as far as like this is too good to be true sort of thing. We're living in a reality where this is too good to be true sort of thing. Like, yes, there are dangers everywhere. Yes, you drive in a car, you risk your life every time you get in a car. You risk being murdered when you go outside at night. You know, you're risking all the time. You don't recognize it though. But the way in which we live now is like food is readily available, housing is readily available. I mean, it's difficult for some people, but it's available. All your resources to survive are in abundance, in abundance. Yeah, we're good. Like I know 100% I am.
Like anybody listening to this, like your life is just crazy good compared to how it could be.
For the most part, you're probably really good.
You got a magic rectangle in your pocket that answers all your questions.
Yeah. You got a little voodoo doll in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? But it's no. I think we're being tricked into believing that this is the way life is. Like it's just good all the time. Like it's just we will always have resources. We will always be healthy. We'll always, and I think 2020 is like the biggest shock because like, you know, it's the first test of humanity, and we're like, are we gonna be good? Like, bro, please relax, please. How about we all take a deep breath here real quick? Yeah. If you're really worried about your health, let's eat healthy real quick. Let's drink some water. Let's get a good night's sleep. Let's exercise. we're going to be fine as a community. And I think the more that we establish ourselves as a community, say, hey, let's get all the youngins out here. If we really care about society, fuck it, dude. Let's all have a potluck at the park and let's all work out and sing Kumbaya and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not going to happen. Obviously that's like the last thing that would happen. But we're so far gone into the world of just cake eating of life. The cake eating of life is just, we're so deep in it that we can't even see what reality is anymore.
Yeah.
We can see just fucking prime shipping.
Yeah.
We can see the location of that goddamn box coming to my door.
We got to have it right now. Like we're trapped in the maze. Like that's another example of time speeding up is I want this thing. And so I'm going to go get it. Think about hundreds of years ago. I want this thing. Like knowing what you want is most of the time it'd probably be food. Like, okay, I want this berry that can, man, that berry that is 13 miles up that mountain is the only place I've ever seen that berry, and it's so delicious. I'm having a craving for it. My day today is going to be walking 13 miles up that ridge so I can get that delicious berry. But now we can sit on our fat bums and like type away on our magic light up rectangle and get berries of whatever kind of berries we want ordered to us. And if we don't get that shit in 2 days delivered right to our fat butts, we're pissed.
Oh yeah.
So
and this isn't everyone, and I'm sorry if we're categorizing and conglomerating everyone together. But it is a lot of society. I'm to blame for it too. And things like that.
Dude, I hate when I watch my packages. When I say any of this is on me, dude. Yeah. This is some shit that I do. I try to get these instant berries.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think, just kind of summarizing what we're going on about, it's not about like judging the people or making ourselves feel bad for this because like I have Amazon Prime, you have Amazon Prime. Like this is the way life is.
Oh yeah.
But I think we should be taking a look at it. And I don't think that the only people taking a look at it should be the philosophers who are paid directly by the government and the people whose job it is to look out for what we're doing, which direction we're steering the ship. Like there's nobody steering the ship. Yeah. There's a government and like they control a lot of things. And, maybe there's underlying things that are being controlled there that are affecting our lives. But I think we have to realize that as participants in this world, in this life, like it is our job to explore and kind of question once in a while and just pause what you're doing and like, okay, what am I doing? Are all of my senses and my like addictions and my whatever being hacked? Yeah. Like my desire to want sugary food, is that being hacked?
Oh yeah. It definitely is being hacked. That's a great way to put it. The sensory system being hacked, because when you're constantly feeling sensations, you're taken away from thought. Essentially, you're reacting to this sensation that's going off in your body, and I can't blame you for that. I can't blame anyone for that. It's hard to, if you feel hungry, you want to eat, If a ding goes off on your phone and you do fucking Twitch and you want to look at it because it could be your best friend telling you like they just bought you tickets to Cancun, like you want to see it.
It could be a pretty girl liking your photo.
Exactly.
Like these are things of course we're going to jump to.
Yeah, but it's just dirty the way they know where to get you. You know what I mean? They know the sweet spot of just.
They've hacked our biology.
Ding. Hey, look at me. Your phone is Mr. Meeseeks. Hey, look at me. I can do this for you.
Hi, Mr. Meeseeks.
Whatever you want, I'll do it for you. Look at me.
I mean, actually, that's like our phone really is a Mr. Meeseeks.
It is.
It does whatever we want.
Think about it. Look at me.
Yeah.
Ding.
Hi, Mr. Meeseeks.
Look at me.
Can do.
Can do whatever you want, dude. Yeah. It's crazy. It's beautiful. I love it. I love using my phone for correct purposes. I love using technology for the right purposes. I think it's a power beyond our comprehension. I think it's a beautiful utility to connect people with across the world. I think it's solved so many problems, transportation-wise, health-wise, everything. The advancement of technology is a beautiful thing. It also is. It's a double-edged sword, man, and we just kind of gotta be looking out for it.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to kind of close off with? I know we've been going at it for a little while, and I could go on for like 6 hours with you, but
No, I'm good, man.
I think we should save it for another one.
We always covered. Just okay. Think of one question off the top of your head to ask me, and I'll answer it.
Oh shit.
No pressure though.
Do you think your body? Do you think when you die, or do you think your consciousness transcends into another dimension in the universe? It goes into the universe, goes into the ether, goes into infinite energy. Like your voice kind of carries on to infinity. Like people don't know that, but like light and shit will just travel. Everything you say is infinite. It goes into infinity. You just can't hear it.
Yeah, I think what we perceive ourselves to be makes us feel that there will be a yes or a no. We are or we are not existing after we die. But most of what we call ourselves, like our name, I'm a human in this body, I'm a me, I'm a he, I'm Jacob, like that ceases to exist without the biological body. So it's not that we just go into non-existence and we're actually like, I think that sometimes we don't think about it that much because death is such a scary thing in our culture that we don't ever really approach. I think we think that we will end up in this infinite void of nothingness. Like you die and you don't exist. Okay, so you just have to experience being in a black room for infinity. That sounds terrible.
With your own thoughts.
Yeah, but it's like no, it's just the thing that you believe yourself to be in this existence will be unwound when your biological body meets its end. I think besides that, if you really look at like what are humans, like or you know, let's say what is consciousness, like the observer of the goings on here. There will be nothing to technically experience and contrast to. So it's not like when you leave Earth, you're going to be like, oh, I used to be a human and I'm mourning all of these things that I used to have when I was a human, but now I'm this. It's really letting go of the things that we think we are that allow us to navigate in our everyday life. So, I mean, I don't know.
It's all hypothetical, but
what do you think?
I think, oh man, what do I think about this? I think I don't necessarily think that one thing's for certain, you do live on, regardless of whether your consciousness travels somewhere else and your existence kind of continues in that way, or you just go into nothing. You just kind of go into that, like where you're dreaming and you just wake, you know, how you dream. You don't know where you go when you dream. It's just done. Basically, you're just nothing. Even having both those possibilities, the fact that like my brother's best friend died, I still feel his energy when I do shit. Like I think about him when I see my brother. I think about him when I do work because I saw how hard he worked. I think of him when I bring myself to social situations because he always brought his best self. So innately, he is somewhat living through me. I think you live through other people as long as you provide experiences for them. As long as you live this life whatsoever at all, you will live on through other people, and that energy will then live on from. They'll take on some personas of you.
Right.
You want to look at the best part of people, especially when they pass. You take on their attributes. You teach them to your kid learns those attributes, teaches it to their kids, and all of a sudden you're just like, you've lived on forever, you know, essentially.
Which was all trickled down from that one interaction you had with your friend's brother.
Exactly. And that is living forever. You know, that is, you know, a type of it. So disregarding where you go after you die, as far as being selfish and being like, what about me?
Yeah.
You know, where am I going?
Yeah.
It's, you will live on forever, hopefully. And also, I do think that if you play your cards right, if you really, really, really dig into your mind and into this life and really understand, like when you take DMT or something like that, you're faced with essentially like dying and being okay to die. It's an ego death. It's the death of yourself and the rebuilding of a new birth in yourself. It's a very humbling and beautiful experience, but you have to be willing to say, I'm prepared to die. Like, my old self is prepared to die. My new self is ready to be reborn.
Right.
Once you get to that point, because that happens, your body releases DMT when you die in your gut and your pineal gland. So I'm assuming that sort of experience happens, but you really die, and you have to pass over and say, hey, I am okay with this reality of death, but I am ready for a new life within my consciousness to travel into the universe and be accepted into the universal knowledge. My life, my experience, my everything I've done in my life is now a part of everything, you know. We came from everything. Now we have to give back to everything and be a resource, just like whatever it is that talks to me is a resource to myself. Like when I do mushrooms and I go somewhere else, what's talking to me, I believe, is the resource of people's consciousness that have died, that have passed, that have experienced some form of life, giving me knowledge about life and about this reality. And I think you become something like that.
So do you think consciousness has its own version of evolution? Basically, it's taking experiences, learning about experiences, and passing them down through like our minds as we get older, like just as our genetics
it wants to
pass each other
survive
down.
just like we want to survive. You know, that's what I think. I think it wants to be forever. Nothing wants to go and slip into the unknown.
I like a lot what you said about you know, basically like pieces of you living on within one another. Like the best parts of you I think we can all resonate with that. You know, thinking of someone we love that has passed away, or someone that we've lost, or some great person that we all idolize and they've since passed. The best parts of them are what we admire now. You don't gossip about a dead person.
No.
You don't talk crap about a dead person.
No.
You remember that what was good in them, and that helps you change who you are. I'm probably trying to be overly poetic, but it's like leaving rose petals of affluence. You know,
it's the last applause at the end of a show that really makes everyone stand up and clap and understand what they just experienced. You know what I'm saying? It's that you are on the stage and you're letting those curtains close right in front of you, and everyone's last memory of you was the best thing that they could experience. You know, it's that beautiful joy, and curtains close, and that's something that just innately, no matter what, it sticks with them, it resonates with them, it just holds inside them, and you can't help but it just attached to you like a fucking octopus tentacle, and just hold on, and it's just in you now, you know, and you don't want it to not be in you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, anybody has the power and potential to change other people. You know, you can influence people by just being the highest being that you are.
Highest being of yourself. Honestly, it's not a selfish thing. It's not an egoic thing. But I would highly, highly recommend being your truest self all the time, even if you don't feel like it. Or if you don't feel like it, like recognize that you don't feel like it, and recognize, like, be honest with people, be open with people. Don't, I don't know, like, you don't have to talk with a fucking accent or attitude, or have some certain persona, or think you're cool, or do all this stuff. Like, just be you. Just 100% be transparent. Like, the thoughts that you have, be okay with saying them. Like, people recognize the realness in people, the authenticity in people, the emotion that you bring. If you're talking about a subject, like, don't talk about it because you think other people will think it's cool what you're saying. Talk about what you really think about it. Speak from the heart, man. Speak, because that's all you got. That is all you have. Or else you're just this imagination of yourself. You're just this weird fucking, you don't know who you are. And all of a sudden, one day, you're going to wake up and all the fucking lights and all the cameras and all that shit's going to go away. You're not going to be in the spotlight. You're not going to do all this stuff. You're going to have to look in the mirror and say, who am I? And if you haven't prepared and you don't act yourself for years and years and years and years, you're going to look in the mirror and go, I feel like killing myself because I don't know who I am. And it's been so long since I felt myself. It's probably been since I've been a kid since I felt myself.
Yeah.
You know,
and at that point, you got to start a journey of, I mean, hopefully it's not the end of your life. At that point, you got to start like, okay, who am I? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What feels good? What resonates with me? And like, I mean, that alone is a lifetime of a journey right there.
That's a beautiful place to be in also. It's the lowest you've ever been is also one of the most beautiful places to ever be in, just because you can only go up from there.
Now you get to learn what you're all about.
Yeah.
You didn't know before. You thought you did. You were just cocky about it. And now you get to learn it.
Yeah, and going back to like watching movies and art and music and all that stuff, like you see in movies all the time people just like being completely discontent with their life and like be like, bro, I'm tired of this. Like I need something new. I need to experience something new. I want different for myself. And they go through this journey of self-discovery and understand what it is they want. Like if I ask someone, what do you want from your life? Like, what do you like? What do you like to do? I fucking love snowboarding. I love snowboarding. I'll go snowboarding. I love taking pictures. I love podcasting. I love eating healthy food. I love cooking. I love running. I love hanging out with friends and playing poker. I love playing video games. I love all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like so many people don't have a clue what they love about life. And figure it out. It's right there. You are born to love things.
Right.
Go love.
You start walking towards it.
Go love everything without fear. Fuck it, dude. Just go love.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Go love.
Go love.
I like it.
Go love. Yeah. Da-na-na.
Go love. Team love. Yeah. Team love all day. Yo, love is not corny. Love is far from corny.
Love is chill as fuck.
Love is cool as fuck. I think for females, for males, like we overuse the word a lot. Social media overuses the word a lot. We see all of our heart emojis, our heart eyes, but like love is the answer. Like love is... Love is what we are, man. You're supposed to lean into it.
Man, I'm telling you, love is that deep fuck yeah.
It's that deep fuck yeah.
It's that deep yes.
Love is that hell yeah, brother.
Amen, brother. Fuck yeah. That's what love is, man.
I feel it.
Fuck yeah, dude. And you got to have a nice touch of that and a nice touch of discipline, a bunch of other shit in between. You're good to go.
Sounds like the plan. That's how you make a human. Mix it up, put it on high, 325,
I'll make
14
a cooking
hours.
video. That sounds terrible. I'll make a cooking video about how to make the perfect being.
Well, I think you'd get kicked off YouTube. That seems
probably
satanic or something.
The left is like, nah, that's chill as long as you don't say Alex Jones or Eddie Bravo or fucking.
Yeah, they're like, as long as you don't tell people what the truth is when it comes to COVID-19, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. What's your idea of Silicon Valley? I'm like, that's when we end our podcast. I'll see you later.
See you later, alligators.
No, but anything closing you want to say?
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hey, anytime.
This is a great conversation.
Round number 3, essentially, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, we did one like a year ago, but this was awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everyone who took the time to watch us converse and talk about the universe and aliens and everything in between. I hope it was actually beneficial for you guys. This is a topic that means a lot to me, means a lot to Jake. We talk about it all the time, and it's interesting and it's fun. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Go check out his podcast immediately. Go follow him immediately. What's your Instagram handle?
Jacob from the Internet.
Jacob from the Internet, and his podcast is on Spotify at Junkyard Love Podcast.
Yep.
So go check it out.
Junkyard Love Podcast.
I love every single one of you guys. Thank you for the support. Peace. Fuck, it wasn't recording.